and financial institutions perform a very pivotal and important role in the economy system. They play a decisive role in the development of industry and trade, starting from capital formation to channelizing funds to productive investment, from encouraging right type of industries to fuller utilization of resources. Banks and financial institutions contribute to all the aspects of economic growth of not only the nation but of a state and to a village as well. But these institutions are not only concerned with the economic development of the society, but also with the all social development nowadays. After the nationalization of big banks, the banking industry has grown to a great extent. Bank branches are now opened in almost all the villages, which creates new employment opportunities too. But for good banking, it's not only the policies or laws by which it is governed, but it is the bankers who are the hero of running and governing all these things. And we are very glad to have such personalities here with us today, with whom we will be discussing a lot of things in the concerned field. And so that we have organized the SAMBAD Seminar 2023 Series 1, in which we will be talking about role of banks and financial institutions on socio-economic development of Odisha, knowledge partner Mirai Assets in association with State Bank of India, NABARD, UCO Bank, Canara Bank, TV partner Kanak News, radio partner Radio Chocolate, digital partner SAMBAD Digital. Now, I would like to request our esteemed guest, Shri Vishal Kumar Dev, IAS Principal Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Odisha, Shri Shumyaranjan Patnaik, Editor, SAMBAD and Chairman, SAMBAD Group, Ms. Monika Nair Patnaik, Managing Director, SAMBAD Group, Mr. Swaraj Mishra, Secretary, AMO Odisha, to lighten the lamp. To present the flower bouquets to our guests on stage. Thank you so much. Now I request to play the SAMBAD Corporate AV.
A new era dawns
in Odisha on October 4, 1984 with the foray of SAMBAD into the print media landscape. The new entrant into the industry created ripples with its path-breaking decisions in presentation and treatment of news. The readers got fresh news instead of stale news after the morning edition was launched, doing away with the dark edition. Since then, SAMBAD has been able to relentlessly disseminate news reports from nook and cranny of the state to grow into the largest media conglomerate of the state, SAMBAD Group. Kanak News has also been able to carve out a special identity as a 24/7 news channel. It has diligently served as the fourth pillar of democracy by being the voice of the voiceless. SAMBAD Group has played a leading role in bringing news from across the world to your fingertips. The digital media wing is always ahead of others in bringing news to you.
Very good morning!
Welcome back to the results of No.1 Odia.
Radio Chocolate is well ahead of its competitors in broadcasting soulful songs and heart-touching stories. Odisha's first private radio station, Radio Chocolate 104 FM, has been the listener's first choice. To preserve the Jatra tradition and for the entertainment of people, Chocolate Rangamancha has continued its endeavor in offering new and fresh family dramas to the viewers. No one shall die for want of blood. No. Odisha is doing an exemplary service to the society by organizing statewide blood donation camps. SAMBAD Sahitya Ghara, monthly magazines Porusho and Katha play a pivotal role in keeping Odia language, literature and culture alive. Institutes under the aegis of SAMBAD group of institutions are playing a key role in offering scholarships and affordable courses to meritorious students. SAMBAD Group's unparalleled contribution in the fields of journalism, education, literature, information and social welfare has etched new imprints on the map of Odisha. We are SAMBAD Group, Odisha's #1 media house. We are always with the people and always ahead. Thank you so much. Now I would like to request Secretary No.1 Odisha, Shri Swaraj Mishra, for welcome address.
Good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Chairman, Eastern Media Limited, our chief guest of this afternoon, Vishal Kumar Dev, Principal Secretary, Finance, Government of Odisha, and Managing Director of Eastern Media Limited, Ms. Monica Nair Patnaik. It's a great pleasure for SAMBAD Group to host this fantastic seminar. As you have just seen in the AV, SAMBAD has been doing a lot of innovative things all along from 1984 onwards. We have had many conclaves like this, but not so exclusively for banking and finance sector as a target group. We had long back a very special conclave when H.R. Khan, Harun Rashid Khan, was the first Odia to become Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India. He came here and we had all these banking heads here from Odisha, and we had a discussion there. Then we have industry conclaves, we have CEO conferences, but this series of seminars that is being planned by SAMBAD is going to be one of the most exclusive and very specifically designed program for different sectors. This time, the first of this series is for banking and finance. So I welcome the entire fraternity from the banking and finance sector of Odisha to this program. Welcome you all. Today, in this inaugural session, we have with us Sri Vishal Kumar Dev, IAS, Principal Secretary, Finance, Government of Odisha. It will be better if I speak a few words about him, but in any case, you all know, because you are from the finance sector and he is the Finance Secretary. The Vishal Kumar Dev is just not an IAS officer. He is just not Secretary Finance, by Principal Secretary Finance. He is a computer engineer from IIT. He is an MBA from IIM Lucknow. He is the person who was actually behind making Bhubaneswar the IT hub of this country. Many people remember Mr. Dev as the person who brought World Cup hockey to Odisha. He was Principal Secretary of Sports and Youth Affairs at that time. And that event was such a big success. The entire world looked at Bhubaneswar, looked at Odisha as the sports epicenter of the world. It's a massive thing. And Mr. Dev, he doesn't look at sports just as sports. It is an instrument of empowerment, an instrument of outreach to the youth and inclusion of the youth of the state. He has been taking this forward. He was chairperson IDCO, he was vice chairperson in BDA. He has been in several positions earlier and has spearheaded substantial, definitive transformation in this sector. Each one of you will agree with me that we could not have heard a more befitting personality to inaugurate this seminar. Sir, welcome you to this seminar. Now we have a collection of very, very senior bankers and executives from financial institutions and from other allied sectors here. Like people like me who actually are beyond 60 have seen how much change has actually happened during the last 50 years. We started our career in banking and finance when everything was manual. We were just going on balancing heavy ledgers, manually calculating interest, and handling every single case individually, personally, under a lot of strain. Then came liberalization, 1991. Then came a lot of changes in prudential norms in the banking industry. And then came this massive thing called computerization. All of us are witness to that situation when computerization created more problems than solved it. Because during the initial implementation, there are severe operational issues at every branch. Customers were completely disappointed, disillusioned. पता नहीं ये क्या हो रहा है? Computerization के नाम पे ये तो पता नहीं ये कुछ नहीं कर रहे, बैंक वाले तो कुछ नहीं कर रहे. But a time has come now when everybody is the beneficiary of this massive computerization of the banking sector. Now we don't have to go to the branch anymore for every little thing. Your bank is on your palm. And there are a lot of new and newer products coming up every day. With digital transformation, a lot of new financial products are being introduced. The competition has become very tough all over the globe. People have been, actually the bottom line is always under pressure, and we are always under pressure to innovate and adjust with the circumstances to survive. Now, that competition has brought in certain amount of desperation and certain amount of adventurism, which has also shown us what could be the result of such misadventures. We have seen the financial meltdowns, we have seen the failure of big banks, and thereafter, today, We are in a situation when things have stabilized a bit and things are looking up a lot more. Just yesterday, we had Tony Blair, ex-Prime Minister of UK, here in Bhubaneswar, sitting with the Chief Minister and signing an MOU on behalf of Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. And the objective was to aid and assist the financial transformation, to create a comprehensive financial strategy for the development of the state, for the development of Odisha. It's a great occasion. It's in fact a coincidence that we are having this seminar just a day after of that signing of that MOU. I think Principal Secretary himself was present there. Now in a scenario like this, we have to think over digitization, the prospects and the challenges, and the financial inclusion part, have we really done it effectively? And the cyber frauds that are coming up. The customers, they are always being taken for a ride. Every time in the newspapers you will find some story here and there. Things are not all that good. A lot of things are still to be done. A lot of issues are still to be addressed. So here we are in this seminar to discuss all these issues. We have 2 panel discussions after this. I welcome all the panelists here. We have with us our chairman, Somaranjan Patnaik, who himself is an innovator, all through. You know, in 1984 when SAMBAD came up, so started publication, media was not an industry. Newspaper was not an industry. He is the person who fought for it and brought industry status to newspapers. We have with us Ms. Monica Nair Patnaik, a brilliant student, a gold medalist from Delhi University, who herself was the chairperson of FICCI, Odisha chapter, some time back. She has been bringing in a lot of innovation into the processes inside SAMBAD. You have seen all those things in the audio visual. Now, with these veterans on the dais and such great business leaders in the hall, we look forward to a great, great evening. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to request Mrs. Monica Nair Patnaik, Managing Director, SAMBAD Group, to come to the dais.
शुभ संध्या नमस्कार संवाद परिवार तरफ मु आपण को समस्त को स्वागत जनाऊँगी अभिनंदन जनाऊँगी आ बहुत बहुत खुशी लगुच समस्ते ये आसिक आम सामने अच्छा सेमिनार सीरीज रे जो संवाद फर्स्ट टाइम आरंभ कर 2023 रो सीरीज 1 बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंस अ वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू एंड अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू ऑल एंड ईच एंड एवरीबडी प्रेजेंट हियर. On behalf of SAMBAD Group, Mr. Somaranjan Patnaik and Mr. Swaraj Mishra, I welcome Shri Vishal Dev, Principal Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Odisha, to be the chief guest of today's evening, and I'm really indebted to him to have been given some time for us to be a part of this beautiful seminar. A very warm welcome to him, please. It's been an honor to also have industry leaders, business leaders from the banking and the finance sector to come here for deliberation over issues where we can see and where we can find out the solution and opportunities ahead in the finance and the banking sector for the social development in the state of Odisha. Over here, I will not mince my words because I believe that the banking has to go to each and every individual at the level, not only at the state but at the personal level. And once we think about at the personal level, we also think about the society at large, that how we can actually benefit from the banking inclusions. We have been very, from bottom of my heart, we have an event which we carry on, and we'll be having a 3rd edition of Odisha 50, where we empower women entrepreneurs in rural Odisha. And we've been doing this for the past 2 years, and this year will be the 3rd edition. So I would like to state a little something deep into it on what is going to be there and how the banking and the finance sector would be able to help us, because he himself is here, Government of Odisha is here, and the stakeholders of the banking industry is here. I will put across my point because the last 2 editions when we talked to the women rural entrepreneurs of the state of Odisha, where we have 70 lakh women in the self-help groups and a 7 lakh SHG group present in the state of Odisha, we have 2 sessions there. First session is for financial intermediation and the second session is marketability of the products or services. Now when we talk about financial intermediation, there is a need where we find that even though there are a lot of programs happening from the Government of India as well as Government of Orissa, there is a lack of clarity that they have and that they know and they want to know what are those schemes which will help them in getting them loans for their products that they are manufacturing or for the services they are rendering. The schemes, even if at the level, block level, at the bank level, they are known to them, how they can access them. What is the way, which is the easiest way where they can access them? I know there was a cultivation which they are trying to do is that they all are into different sectors like mushroom cultivation, handloom, tailoring, buddy, papad, pickle, all those things they are doing, but they want to go further. It's not only exhibitions they want to participate in and around India or the world which they have done, but also how they can impress and how they can the other SHG holders or semane कहते माँ माने तो आगु को आमे केमती बढ़ी पारिबु हमको अगर फाइनेंस रे हमको हमरो जानी पारिबु आमे कि कौन हमरो स्कीम्स अछि आमे आगु को नै कि बढ़ी पारिबु हम आगु को और भी भलो करि पारिबु आज आमे किछि रेवेन्यू जनरेट करूछु किंतु ए जिंसटा आमे पाइलु आमे आगु को भी बढ़ी पारिबु. So my excitement today is that if we deliberate over the challenges and focus on the different aspects, not only for the urban areas, but definitely please give a thought to the women entrepreneurs, especially I would say there are of course men entrepreneurs, but I am biased because women entrepreneurs do very well, and that's the scheme SAMBAD has been doing for a long time, empowering them. So kindly take a note and deliberate over the discussions and see if something can come out and we can give them a proposal that these are the things you can go forward with whatever products or services you are rendering in your businesses. So thank you very much, and before I sign off, I also want to thank all our readers, viewers, listeners for making SAMBAD the #1 media house of the state, and we are proud to be the #1 media house not only in the state having all the 360-degree verticals of media, which is not a single media house might be having in the country. So thank you all of you for making us the #1, and thanks to our partners, thanks to our team for making this a grand success. And I have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to request our chief guest of the day, Shri Vishal Kumar Dev, IAS Principal Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Odisha, to come on the dais, please.
Respected Shri Swaminathan Patnaik, Shri Suraj Mishra, Chief of Arm Odisha, Ms. Monica Nair Patnaik, CEO of SAMBAD Group, my colleagues from the banking community, industry leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here today when SAMBAD has organized this seminar on banking and finance, which is a very relevant topic for our state and for our times. SAMBAD as a group has always been at the forefront of taking up issues which go much beyond journalism you saw a glimpse of what all activities they've been taking up in the video that was shown some time back. So they have taken up issues which relate to promotion of Odia language, banking and seminars. They organize several conclaves, as you're all aware, and I'm delighted to be here today. I will kind of try and give you a perspective on banking and finance from the government's point of view, because there are two panel discussions after the inaugural session, and we have some very eminent bankers who will be talking to you about that. So, when we start talking about Odisha, I must tell you that I normally begin by saying the journey that we have taken over the last 22 odd years has been one of significant transformation. When I had joined the state after spending 1 year at the Mussoorie Academy, the state had the reputation of being a poor and a backward state, and today we are counted amongst the fastest growing states in the country. So one has seen a huge transformation of Odisha, the image that it carried and the actual development that has taken place over the last 20-25 years. A significant change has happened, and as I said, we are not really considered a poverty-ridden backward state as we were about 25 years back. If you look at what all has changed, you look at industries, you look at rural development, social development, there has been a change in every sector. There has been tremendous development. In fact, before I move forward, there is so much to talk about that I don't want to exceed the time that has been given to me. So I would request if you can point out if I am exceeding my time. Industry sector was not really talked about 25 years back. Odisha basically figured in events which discussed poverty alleviation, which discussed tribal development. Today, cut to 2022, we are amongst the top 5 states in the country when it comes to attracting investments. You look at poverty reduction between 2005 and 2011, its Planning Commission data says that Odisha reduced its poverty by a percentage of about 24.5%, the highest by any state in the country. So, you look at the rural roads program, 17-18 onwards, consistently for the last 5 years, we've been the #1 state in the country. We of course are a recognized leader when it comes to disaster management, not just in the country but globally. And when it comes to increasing the incomes of farmers, again, between 2011 and 2022, we've won the Krishi Karman Award 5 times. There are several other areas that I can talk of. The first city in the country to have drink from tap, Puri became the first city in the country. So several other accolades have come our way, and today I must tell you, Odisha is a story of good governance in the country. No more are we considered that poor and backward state, but we've come a long way from that and we are on the right track. Now when we talk of such phenomenal transformation on the industry side also, I must tell you, way back in 2000, 99-2000, we just had Rourkela steel plant and Nalco and some very small little other industries. Rourkela steel plant back then had a capacity of about 1 million metric tons. Today we account for 30% of India's steel and 55% of India's aluminium. It's no mean achievement. In a period of just about 20 years, we've traveled such a long distance, and we are all set to occupy our rightful place as far as the most developed and the most industrialized states in the country are concerned. When you talk of such transformation, financial transformation is extremely important. You see, you might want to do so many things. You might want to make roads, might want to make bridges, you might want to give subsidies to industries, but if you don't have money, you can't do it. So, having adequate resources for converting, your dreams into realities is extremely important. And I must tell you that financial transformation of Odisha is again a story which is talked about a lot. I was just discussing with Swami Ranjan sir before the program began, and we were talking about 99-2000, when we were in such a bad shape, we were unable to pay our salaries for 4 months, 5 months put together. The treasuries used to be closed. They were in overdraft throughout the year, and they used to open once every month primarily to release salaries. If you look at the financial figures between then and now, it's a story which is very, very impressive. Way back in 99-2000, our budget size was 11,800 crores. Current year, our budget size is 2,30,000 crores. So that's the jump that we've had. What's important is, when our budget was 11,800 crores, our own revenue, the state's own revenue, was about 2,420 odd crores, about 20%. Today, out of a budget of 2,30,000 crores, the state's own revenue, own tax and non-tax revenue, is about 1,05,000 crores, which is about 45.5%, a jump of more than double. So we are much more self-reliant. Our fiscal deficit back then was 8% of our GSDP. Today it's been brought down to 3%. We were a revenue deficit state in 2000. Our revenue deficit was about 5.4% of GSDP. Today we are a revenue surplus with a surplus of about 3.1% of our GSDP. Finance, I'll be throwing a lot of figures, so pardon me for that. A lot of numbers and a lot of figures. What's very important, you see, how does a state grow? You talk of, so a budget has two components. One which goes into development, which is now called the program expenditure. When Planning Commission was there, it was called the plan budget. And the other is the, non-plan budget or the establishment expenditure. Our program budget in 2000 was about 2,891 crores out of 11,800 crores. In the current year, it is 1,25,000 crores out of 2,30,000 crores. From a little about more than 20% to about half, more than about half, 54% of the total budget. So, and out of that, you see, out of the program budget, how does the state grow? You have to invest in capital assets, creation of infrastructure, creation of capital assets. In 2000, we budgeted about 799 crores. In the current year, we have about 51,693 crores. So a jump from 1.7% to GSDP to about 6% of GSDP as far as the capital outlay is concerned. So I hope you're getting, the kind of jump that we have made. So this is a huge, huge transformation financially also. And last year we ended with a surplus, revenue surplus of about 20,000 crores. And in the current year, our revenue surplus is projected at about 27,000 crores. So these are the figures. So these kind of tell you where we have come and where we were and where we are now. So the progress that we were, talking of. I also must tell you that so all this is reflected in the economic growth and prosperity of the state. In 2015-16, our per capita income was about 65% of the national per capita income. It was 64,835 rupees per capita income, when the national per capita income was about 94,800 rupees. The gap between the two was 32%. Today, in about 8 years, so I am comparing 2015-16 to now, our per capita income is 1,50,000 rupees and the national per capita income is about 1,70,000. So the gap from 15-16, which was 32%, has now come down to about 11.7%. And if we continue growing at this pace, in the next 6 to 7 years, we are sure to surpass the national per capita income. So Odisha's per capita income is going to be higher than the national per capita income. So we are on a growth path. And of course, all of this happens when we have a thriving banking and financial industry, because they are the ones who provide the funds for activities which lead to economic growth of the state. And when you talk of banking and finance, again, from the government's perspective, I must tell you, I will not bother you with about how many banks we have or how many branches we have, but what we monitor from the government side is the priority sector lending or the annual credit plan, which is brought out every year. In 2018-19, our priority sector lending target was about 60,000 crores. And in the current year, our priority sector lending target is about 1,60,000 crores. Last year it was 1,35,000 crores. And what is very, very heartwarming is that for the first time in the history of Odisha, we have data from 1990 onwards which we verify. For the first time, we achieved 100% of our annual credit plan or priority sector lending target. And the credit for that goes to all the people who are sitting here, all my colleagues from the banking industry, because they have actually come forward and extended loans for agriculture, for MSMEs, for SHGs, for housing, for real estate, for education, for several other sectors. And therefore, we've come to the situation where for the first time we achieved 100%. Last financial year, we had achieved about 93%, and prior to that, it was about 88%. On the same side, so there's a very important parameter which we monitor, which is CD ratio, the credit deposit ratio. So very simply put, it is primarily the deposits that are generated within the state by various banks, what percentage of it is extended as credit to activities within the state. So the CD ratio about 2 years back when I joined was 62. Last 31st March 2021 it was 62. 31st March 2022 it rose to 72. And the last financial year, 31st March 2023, it is 81. So there has been a consistent increase, of course, again with the support of, our support to all economic and industrial activities of the state. If you look at the three major sectors of priority sector lending, agriculture, over the last 5 years, the growth in agriculture, compounded annual growth rate has been about 20%. You look at the MSME sector, the compounded annual growth rate has been about 25%. I'm talking the last 5 years. And the third important component is funding into the SHGs, which Monica was mentioning about. How do we convert women to entrepreneurs? So women SHGs to micro and small enterprises is a vision that has been shared by Honorable Chief Minister with us, and you will be delighted to know that the compounded annual growth rate of the funds that are being infused into women's self-help group sector is 57%. So year on year we have been, that's the kind of growth that is happening. And last financial year, the priority sector lending for women self-help groups increased by 126%. For MSMEs, it was about 104%, and for agriculture sector also it was about 104%. And I already mentioned that the target of priority sector lending that we have doubled over the last 5 years. I would not really like to say much, but the government and the banking and finance industry has been working together to see how Odisha moves forward. We are on the right path. There is tremendous growth which is happening across all sectors, and that is something which we are sure would continue to happen. I would just like to end by saying that we stand at a very important juncture of history in Odisha, where we are in that stage where we are likely to take off in a big way. We are likely to make a big leap, and with the support of our banking partners, I am absolutely sure that Odisha has a very bright future, and we will see tremendous growth. And that day is not far when we would rightfully occupy our place as one of the most developed states in the country. Thank you all for giving me a very patient listen, and it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And now for the concluding address, I would like to request Editor SAMBAD and Chairman SAMBAD Group, Shri Soumyaranjan Patnaik, to the dais, please.
जय जगन्नाथ। संबाद तरफ आयोजित होइथिबा एई संपान गोष्ठीर प्रथम संपान को आपण मानकु पुणी थरे मु स्वागत करुची समग्र संबाद परिवार तरफ। बाहरे जो माने आम संपर्क में आलोचना करती सब बेले कहती आंकर तो काम है खबर छापा एवं खबर देखा एसबू धंदा सब कहीं करुँच आपण मानक सब डाकी एकाठी करी एभली गोटे मानस मंथन प्रक्रिया आरंभ करने पछरे कौन उद्देश्य थाई पारे। उद्देश्य किसी नुहे, बहुत दिन पूर्वर आपण मानकर मन थिबो टाटा कंपनी रो गोटे भल विज्ञापन थिला। से विज्ञापनटी गोटे वाक्य रे वी ऑल्सो मेक स्टील। इस्पात कारखाना सबू कथा करुला बेले टाटा कंपनी रो मुख्य काम लुहा उत्पादन होइथिबा बेले से विज्ञापन रे कहते आमे मध्य लुहा तैयारी करू, अर्थात लुहा तैयारी करने छड़ा आमे आहरी अनेक गुड़िए कार्यक्रम मध्य करू, एपरिक लुण मध्य करू। टाटा सल्ट लुण मध्य तैयारी करे। संवाद मध्य से आदर्श रे अनुप्राणित होई किछि ना किछि नुआ काम करिबा पई अन्य काम करिबा पई सदाबेले चेष्टा करिथाए। सेई आभिमुख्यर फलस्वरूप आपण माने जहाँ किछि अन्य सब कार्यक्रम आम माध्यम देखुंती से भाषापाई हो कि रक्तदान कार्यक्रम हो कि महिला शिल्पोद्योगी को आहरी अधिक सचेतन करी समान को सुविधा सुजोग जोगई देवाई हो, गछ लगेवा हो कि साहित्यर उन्नति किसी कार्यक्रम करवा हो, ये सबू पछरे केवल गोटे मात्र उद्देश्य अच्छी जे आमे विचार करूँ गणमाध्यम काम है लोकंक सहित जोड़िबा, समस्या को समाधान निकटतर करिबा एवं एक सामूहिक जीवनर प्रतिछवि केवल खबर कागज पृष्ठारे नुहे, टेलीविजन परदारे नुहे कि नुआ माध्यम नुहे, सामग्रिक भाव में गोटे जातिर गोटे समष्टिर गोटे समावेशर ये गोटे चित्र आमे समस्त आगे थोइबापी चेष्टा करिथाउ। आजिर ये कार्यक्रम जहाँ द्वारा उद्घाटित हला श्रीयुक्त विशाल देव को मु विशेष भाव में कृतज्ञता प्रकाश करी, कारण फाइनान्स सेक्रेटरी हिसाब से सबुठारु जदि किए गुरुत्वपूर्ण विभाग दायित्व रे अछंती ताहले से हेले विशाल कुमार देव एवं से अति आनंदर सहित तांकर वक्तव्य दे पारुथिले। तांको वक्तव्य जहाँ आमे अनुमान करूथुलु यदि 20 वर्ष तले तांको एठी छड़ा करी एई कथा कहवा को कहा जाई थांता से बोधे इच्छा प्रकाश करि न थांते। वर्तमान ओडिशार जो सुनेली चित्र आम आगे से थोइचंती ता आम समस्त को निश्चित भाव में उत्साहित कर मु से समय देइथिबारु तांको केवल धन्यवाद देउ नहीं, से जड़े अत्यंत सफल मनीष। तांको विषय रे आपण तो जानिले से आईआईटी रो छात्र केवल नथिले एवं MBA पाठ पढ़ी नांती IAS पाई नांती किंतु तांकर जेते सब सफलता मध्य ओडिशा को खेल मानचित्र रे एक खेल राजधानी मान्यता देइथिबा दृष्टि से सबुदिन ओडिशावासी को पाखरे मन रहिबे। विशाल देव BDA रे कहार को काम करथिले न करथिले कि अन्य विभाग रे कौन करथिले न करथिले ताहा जेते मने रहिबो नाही। सबुदिन से ओडिशा रे गोटे अक्षय कीर्ति ही रहिचंती जे विश्वकप को ओडिशा को आनिबारे जो अधिकारी सबुठारु गुरुत्वपूर्ण भूमिका थिला से हेले विशाल कुमार देव। बंधुगण मु अधिक वक्तव्य दे आपण मानक भाराक्रांत करिबे नाही कारण आमर असल कार्यक्रम यही आनुष्ठानिक उद्घाटन पर्व पर आरंभ हब। बहु विज्ञ बैंकर भाई माने एठी अछंती, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बंधु माने एठी अछंती, वित्त क्षेत्र रे बैंक क्षेत्र रे जो मानकर गभीर अनुभव अच्छी किछि शिल्पोद्योगी बंधु मध्य एही कार्यक्रम रे भाग नेउछंती। समस्तक पाखरे मु आउ अधिक समय नष्ट करने को चाहू ना। केवल गोटे कथा न कहले मो मन जहाँ को कहती टिके अपूर्ण रही। बैंक कथा चिंता कला बेलू मु गोटे कथा मन को भावुची मोर से अनुष्ठान तैयारी करने
Talk of banking and finance again from the government's perspective of our annual credit plan of priority sector lending target. And the credit for that goes primarily the deposits that are generated within the state by various banks.
बंधु मु जेहेतु जड़े भल छात्र थी मोर सबू छात्र माने जदि IAS ही नथिबे कि OAS ही नथिबे से निश्चय बैंक रे चाकरी
Primarily
भल
the
छात्र
deposits that are generated within the state by various banks. What percentage of it
मो अकाउंट खोलिबो बोली मते जानकारी तांको मुख्यंक पाखरे हाजर करिला। सेते बेले स्टेट बैंक रो लोकल हेड ऑफिस मध्य एठी नथिला, जड़े मात्र GM थिले। मु तांको ना को आज पर्यंत मन रखिछि एवं मला पर्यंत मध्य मन रखिबी। तांको ना हला सोलोमन राज। आज कहुए आपण विचार में बैंक किपरि हवा उचित, बैंक मैनेजर की किपरि हवा उचित, ताहले मु बिना द्विधारे कहि पारिबी समस्ते सोलोमन राजन भली बैंकर हो पारे ओडिशार दारिद्र्य कौन जेकोसी राज्यर दारिद्र्य यथेष्ट अधिक परिमाण में दूर से बंधु सोलोमन राजन मुख्यमंत्री जोई होता दृष्टि मत हुए तो टी अधिक गुरुत्व दि जाए किंतु मने मने भावुले ये क्या अखबार निकालेगा, उसको ये नहीं है कि वर्किंग कैपिटल भी चाहिए होता है काम करने के लिए। तेणु गोटे धड़ा मु 5 लाख टंकार ओडी सैंक्शन नहीं तांको रूम रु फेरिली। दैट इज माय फर्स्ट इंटरेक्शन विथ द बैंक मैनेजर। मु सब बैंक मैनेजर कथा कहबार तात्पर्य हला से दिन ठारू संवाद तरफ जो माने गोटे बैंक रो मैनेजर हम संपर्क रे आलोचना करती सब बेले कहती याकर तो काम हला खबर छापिबा एवं खबर देखैबा ता परवर्ती अनुभव भल अनुभव हर्षद मेहता जो काम है तापर बैंक रो मैनेजर माने जो प्रकार हाथ बढ़े आसुले सहयोगर समस्ते डरवा को आरंभ कले। निष्पत्ति नेबापी कहीं चाहिए ना। बैंकिंग सिस्टम मध्य आमर गोटे विराट बड़ परिवर्तन भितर गति कला। बदल सिस्टम बैंक को कब्जा करने को चाहिए। सिस्टम बाहर रहिले द्वारा अनेक ओडिशार शिल्पोद्योगी माने केते परिमाण रे क्षतिग्रस्त होती जाना। आज आम जो क्षेत्र में उपनीत होइचे समस्त को मन पकई देवा चाहे। ओडिशार जो सुनेलीकरण है चित्र आम आगे विषय आप जानिले केते गुरुत्व निर्वाह करे यही गोटे निष्पत्ति जना पड़ा जे जातीयकरण है फल गरीबी हटिज नुआ दुनिया आसब एवं सरकार एवं लोकंक भितर अधिक संपर्क हेब बैंक लोकंकर अधिक निकटतर हेब किंतु 71 मसीहा परठारु आज जितेबाला बैंक विषय आलोचना होची मते दुखर सहित कहवाक पड़ुची जे कहीं से भली तांको विषय रे आपण जानिले जे आईआईटी रो बैंक छात्र केवल नथिले कहा जाउची कि अन्य विभाग रे कोन करिथिले न करिथिले ताहा जति मोटर गुरुत्वपूर्ण भूमिका थिला से हेले विशाल एनपीआर भाग केते अछि को बैंक सहित आउ को बैंक रो बाहागर कले समांतर जीवन सुखमय हेई पारिबो नले एकाकी से आउ हेई पारिबे नाही एभली एक अवस्था बेले आपण मानक सेही आमे जो मानस मंथन करबा चाहू आमे ओके साधारण लोकर कथाटी को अधिक गुरुत्व देबा पई निवेदन करूची मो विचार रे यदि बैंक बा बैंक मैनेजर को आपण गोटे शब्द रे कहबा को चाहते गोटे वाक्य रे बैंक मैनेजर की फ्रेंड फिलोसोफर एंड गाइड ऑफ द स्मॉल टाइम एंटरप्रेन्योर हेबा कथा मु बैंक मैनेजर को सबुठारु मो बापा को मो बंधु को मो स्त्री को जो कथा गुड़िक कहबी ना मु बैंक मैनेजर को से कथा को कहबारे कौन द्विधा करी ना किंतु दुखर सहित कहवा पड़ुची आजिर बैंक व्यवस्था भितर शिल्पोद्योगी और बैंक मैनेजर भितर जी संपर्क बा जो भली निकट संपर्क जो भली उदारता जो भली परस्पर को बुझीवार क्षमता जो भली परिवेशर आवश्यकता अच्छी ता आजिकल आउ नाही आमे समस्ते सिस्टम रे बंधा हो जाइछु सबकिछि थाई मध्य ऋण टिके पाइबा पाई आम पाई कष्ट होउची किंतु अनेक लोक अछंती किछि न थाई मध्य हजार हजार कोटी टंकार ऋण नहीं पड़ौचंती मते सबुठारु बेसी बाधुची जो लोकटी आप्राण चेष्टा करुछि नियमित तार ईएमआई देबा पाई नियमित सुध देबा पाई नियमित ऋण परिशोध करिबा पाई छोटिया गोटे भूल पाई तार सुविधा सुजोग को कई खातिर करूनांती जी कोटी कोटी टंका नहीं चली जाई पारुछि से पुणी केजाणी केमिति आहुरी अधिक ऋण पाइबारे योग्य साब्यस्त होउछि मो विचार रे जदि आमर छोट लोक ऊपर को उठेबा को अच्छी क्षुद्र और मध्यम शिल्पोद्योगी मान ऊपर को उठेबा को अच्छी से सोलोमन राजदूत परी बैंकर माने फेरी आसवा दरकार आउ सेमाने बैंकर परिवारभुक्त हेबा दरकार शिल्पोद्योगी से जड़े निकट संपर्क हवा दरकार कारण व्यक्तिगत अनुभव रू यही कथा मु देखी कारण मोर सांग माने जतबेले सब बैंक मैनेजर थे समय क्रमे क्रमे से स्केल 1 रु स्केल 4 डीजीएम रु जीएम पर्यंत हेले एबे समस्ते रिटायर्ड कर गले मु तांको सांगरे रही जानी को प्रकार एप्लिकेशन देले ओडीटे मिल पारिबो न्यूज प्रिंट रो दर बढ़ुची जहाज उपर न्यूज प्रिंट आसी पहुँची मते जदि एतिकी टंका ओडी दिया जाए ताले मु 10% कम दाम रे मो कंचामाल को किनी पारिबी तेणु मते गोटे सुजोग दिया जाई पारिबो एभली साहाय्य सुविधा देबा पाई बैंक मैनेजर माने सेतेबेले आगे आसुतले गोटे नुआ फोन टे बाहरची मु सेही फोनटा व्यवहार कले मते बहुत आनंद मिलिबो किंतु 40,000 टंका मोर वर्किंग कैपिटल मु डाइवर्ट करबा को चाहूची ए डाइवर्सन का टिके अपा मते एलाउ कर दे किंतु नियम कहूची जे ए प्रकार सामग्री पाई वर्किंग कैपिटल रु एतिक टंका डाइवर्सन करी हबो नाही किंतु मो विचार रे जने बैंक मैनेजर निजर डिस्क्रिप्शन व्यवहार करी एई डाइवर्सन को एलाउ करी तार मनोबल को बढ़ाइबा दरकार शिल्पोद्योगी स्टार्टअप को तैयारी करबा दरकार एतिकी मनर कथा कही आपण मानको समस्त को एत संख्यार आसीथिबारु मु स्वागत करुची एवं आशा करुची जो दुईटी पैनल आमर आलोचना करिवे ता फलप्रद हबो आपणकर आलोचना आमे भी अनेक शिखिबु पाठक मानक अनेक कथा शिक्षा देबु एवं शिल्प सचिव महोदय तांकर उपस्थिति तांकर जो सुनेली स्वप्न देखिचंती ता साकार हो ओडिशा पाई मध्य गोटे विराट बड़ शिखिबार कथा आजिठु मिलिबो कारण ओडिशा अर्थनीति रे खूब सुंदर भाव में अच्छी ओडिशार आर्थिक स्वास्थ्य खूब भल अच्छी किंतु एभली स्वास्थ्य परे आमे पछुको अनेबार कौन आवश्यकता नहीं किंतु देखा जाउची ओडिशार अनेक मेधावी छात्र ओडिशार अनेक लोक ओडिशा बाहर को चली जाउचंती ओडिशा भितरे आमे सेमानकर सुजोग जेते परिमाण रे नेबा कथा नहीं पारुनांतु तेणु जो माने नीति निर्धारण करुचंती सेमानकु एथिप्रति अधिक दृष्टि देबाक पड़िबो एवं बैंकर माने ओडिया लोक मानकु शिल्पोद्योगी भावे ओडिशा भितरे बांधी रखिबा पई गोटे विराट बड़ दायित्व निर्वाह करने उचित बोली मन करी आपण मानक ए प्रकार आह्वान सम्मुखीन होगापाई निवेदन करी मोर वक्तव्य शेष करुच्ची। वंदे उत्कल जननी।
Thank you so much, sir. Now it's time to felicitate our chief guest of the evening. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I would like to request all our guests on stage to please take your seats so that we can move ahead for our first panel discussion. So moving ahead to our first panel discussion. As we all know that banking sector across the world is undergoing a fast and far-reaching reformation due to the continuous effect of information technology and invented developments. But to the real fact, are consumers aware of such changes and developments? And this needs a brief discussion. To discuss on consumers' awareness on financial products and transactions, I would like to request Mr. Rajiv Sekhar Sahu, Chartered Accountant, Principal Partner, SRB and Associate, Mr. Krishna Chaitanya, Regional Head, Mirai Asset Investment Managers, India Private Limited, Mr. Pradyumna Kumar Chaudhary, DGM, Small Industries Development Bank of India, Mr. Jagdish Chandra, GM, State Head, Canara Bank, to come on the stage, and to moderate this session, I would like to request Dr. Manas Ranjan Das, News Coordinator, Kanak News, to come on the dais, please.
Very good evening to all of you. Samastanku namaskar. I will see Lakshmi over there. I just want to say one thing. Yesterday's news headline: 4,399 villages of Odisha don't have banks in their area. They have to walk for 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers to withdraw 100 rupees. And we are discussing about banking sector here. Is it not a big problem for Odisha? And people's awareness is the most important thing in India, because India has a large population, and a large population of India remains unbanked and underbanked. It is also a big problem of Odisha. I posted 2 lines in social media yesterday, and I just wrote the topic: 227 questions of people arises in my social media post. It is a people's interaction. I just want to ask the people's question to you, sirs. First, I want to ask the root question. Rajiv sir is our TV's guest. आमे सबुबले पचारू कौन सस्ता है कौन महंगा है. आज फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन मोर रहिबो, सर व्हाट इज द इंपोर्टेंस ऑफ कंज्यूमर्स अवेयरनेस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट्स एंड ट्रांजैक्शन इन इंडियन इकोनॉमी रिसेंट लैंडस्केप.
मान्य धन्यवाद. प्रथमे मो संवाद को धन्यवाद देवी जे एभली एक सेमिनार आयोजन करिथिबारु. I must thank and congratulate Sambad. Second, you have asked a very pertinent question, that what should be the level of awareness, what is the awareness level that people are enjoying at the moment, and what it should be. Now, in one meeting, I told somebody that the financial literacy is far more important then probably knowing Akbar and Babur as we read in the history. Somebody threatened me from the audience that, are you tilted towards a particular party, that's why you are asking this kind of or giving this kind of advice. I said it is important to know everything, but among them, if you have to choose and if you have to lead a life of decent comfort, you must have the idea of, or you must know the financial literacy at the level that you are not cheated. And therefore, how to open an account, as Somya Babu was saying, how to safely invest your money, be it bank deposit, be it mutual fund, be it the bond or the investment in equity specific. It is very important for an average economic level person to know what all needs to be done. It is only when you know this, you can go to somebody who has an expertise in the line. But if you don't have the basic, you have every possibility of being cheated, as our innocent people in the past have been cheated by the cheat funds, or hundreds and thousands are being cheated every day in the hands of various people who try to misguide for their own benefit. Thank you.
Rajiv sir, is a personal question. People have been cheated and will be cheated. Is there any solution, sir?
As I told in my first answer, that financial literacy must be fundamental, and that is why today government is taking steps to ensure that financial literacy is taught not only in the colleges but also in the school. And in the school also, people must know these fundamental things. By the time they grew up, complete the college, get into a job, they are able to find the basics in place so that on the face of it, you are not being cheated. You can be losing money, but losing money is different from being cheated. I think that distinction must be drawn, and therefore the various steps, including what SAMBAD is organizing today, ensures or helps to see that there is more awareness, more interaction, more discussion among the public, so that people come to know as to what are the areas of positives and negatives, so that there is least or minimum chance of being cheated. Okay. But I thought you wanted to ask a personal question. I was a little scared. Thank you.
Pradyumna sir, I want to know, and people want to know, can you please give me some examples that awareness works? Works. Kama kare. Awareness kama kare.
Yeah, thank you. It's a wonderful question. Thank you, Sumarjan sir. Thank you, Vishalji. Thank you, SAMBAD Group, and all for this wonderful evening here. बहुत भला क्वेश्चन पचारल जे अवेयरनेस काम करे ना नहीं एंड सार भी कहले जे फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी केमती काम करूची I would just give a very small example. There is a favorite serial which was coming up, Shark Tank India. Okay, Shark Tank India. America was there and Shark Tank India just a couple of months back maybe. So one day when I came from office, my daughter who is in class 7, she told me, Papa, I have a startup. Okay. She asked the question, are you willing to invest? Well, yes, of course. No, I will not give any equity. Class 7 girl, she is saying that I have a startup and I am not going to give you any equity, but you invest money in my startup. So that the point I am driving here is, like he said, this education, the awareness starts from the school. Are they exposed? If not, then we must expose them through our financial literacy. But to add to that point, financial literacy, but now it is a digital age. People are coming to with digital solutions. Upon a faceless banking asigalani, you need not go to a bank. Even my personal experience, I have 3 to 4 accounts in different banks. I have never visited the branches. Never ever. So all transactions are through mobile, upon mobile, internet, jabi. So awareness, kibali bhabar haba, or digital literacy, awareness सिंपल गोटे एग्जांपल धरिकी कहूँ जे एनी माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर आपण गोटे गाँव में जातु से गोटे जड़े एसएचजी ग्रुप जड़े महिला सी तांकर किसी करुँच एसएचजी ग्रुप 10 टका सेव करके एमएफआई रे सेव कर इफ दे आर नॉट अवेयर सर जोटा कहले दे मे गेट चीटेड आपन जो प्रश्न पचार दे मे गेट चीटेड अगेन एंड अगेन इट मे हैपन सो आमर कथा होची जे अवेयरनेस रियली वर्क्स एंड वी मस्ट दिस टाइप ऑफ सेशंस आमे आहुरी व्यापक करवा दरकार लुक एंड कॉर्नर ऑफ द स्टेट जीवा दरकार एंड प्रति गाँव रे सो दैट दे आर अवेयर ऑफ द राइट्स as a consumer of the bank. I must be aware of my rights and my responsibilities to the bank as well. जे मु कौन लोन नहीं थी क्रेडिट नहीं थी कौन नहीं थी so these things works.
Okay. Krishna Chaitanya sir, I have a question for you. In developed countries, people prefer investment in share market, mutual funds, but in India, people invest money more in fixed deposit, RD, postal. Why this is happening in India?
First of all, thanks SAMBAD Group for giving us this opportunity. As you have rightly pointed out, the myth about understanding mutual funds as an investment asset class should be properly understood by the investors. The only assumption which people think when they think about mutual funds, it is directly investing into the market. There is a lot of risk associated to it. But when you talk about mutual fund investment, it is a product where you diversify your investment, where a proper analyst analyze the things where your investment should be going. It's into a proper diversified portfolios. You are not directly entering into the market. It is backed up by a fund house where the research analysts are there in it, where a proper analysis of the companies where you are investing is properly taken care, and there your money would be invested into. And it is not a single stock or a 2 or 3 stocks where you will be investing. Your portfolio will be diversified into across various sectors and various companies which are prominently good in the market. That is the assumption about investment into mutual funds, and interlinking investment into mutual fund and directly investing into stock market should be redirected in the proper way. And the opportunity to invest in the mutual fund in these days, as rightly pointed out, there are many channels where you can utilize to enter into this market. First, start your investments into the mutual fund way in a small, in a regular manner. Inculcating your habit of savings through mutual funds will definitely give you long-term, which will definitely give you good results on a long-term perspective.
Chaitanya sir, a fear in my mind. There is a risk in mutual fund, right? Is it rational? The fear is rational or not? Yes, sir.
To be honest, it depends on what kind of investment objective are you choosing. First of all, the first and foremost question, which when a person wants to invest into a mutual fund, he should self-question himself that why am I investing? The moment you question yourself, why am I investing? There, the purpose of your investment will arise. That actually gives you the duration of the investment needs to be met. That will give you the right kind of a fund you have to choose. If you have a 1 year, there are different category of funds. If you have a tenure of 3 years plus, you have a different category of funds. If you have a longer tenure, you have a different category of funds. And there are always options in the hands of the investor, whether he wants to come month on month, whether he has to take a choice at a single go. There are a lot of opportunities and the options available in the hands of the investor. First, the understanding, the question to the investors themselves should be, why am I supposed to invest? The purpose of the investment should be very clear. That defines the timeline of the investment, that actually concludes the goal for their investment. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Okay. Chaudhary sir, you want to say something?
Yeah, just to add on what you said, generally we have seen Indians, I mean Bharatiya mane, take risk averse, ठीक है ना, मोटा-मोटी risk averse देखिए बोले, हमें investment करें चाहूँ ना कि unnecessary mutual funds,
बहुत डर लगे,
बहुत, हाँ, सेटा, so that's why we say जो mentality टा रही, it will take years, you know, though mutual fund business has grown and you know stock market investment it has gone up more than 60,000 crore, so 60,000 Sensex. So what I mean to say is, safe field of Japan, it will take some time. Otherwise, people are coming up. So,
Okay, okay. Okay, say that.
See, there is always a risk, but the question is the ability to observe the risk is very important. Second thing is you don't want to take any risk. You invest in fixed deposit, you get 3, 4, 5%. You want to invest or get return more than that, you invest in debt fund. You are not satisfied, you want little more, but protecting your risk, you go for a hybrid fund, you get maybe 8, 9% or 10, 11%. You want to invest only in equity, you may have higher risk, but you will get higher return. So it is always a question of managing risk versus return, and that is where the expertise of the mutual funds work. When an individual works, not only he doesn't get the insulation, he may not be having the expertise. So it is the mutual fund people who are actually expertise. They of course make good money in the process, but they have the expertise to invest your money. And that is how the people should have understanding of what a mutual fund is. And that is why Sachin Tendulkar and others come and say mutual funds are here.
Sir, this is the problem of India. People do not understand the things. Okay, sir. Jagdish Chandra, sir, I have a question. A general people, how to choose a bank to go to fixed deposit, to have anything about finance, how they choose?
Thank you so much for inviting me also. With regard to your first question for this fixed deposit, so now everybody is aware, first they see the rate of interest in our website, which bank is offering rate of interest, and lot of opportunities are, advertisements are being coming in the newspaper.
Is it enough for people?
No, it's enough because now for the last 1 year there is a lot of deposits. First question you have raised regarding mutual funds.
Yes.
So last 3-4 years the bank deposits are now being shifted to mutual industries. So banks need deposits because deposit is the raw material. So they have to do business. So every bank is very active. If you see earlier people are waiting for this lending, but now for last 1 year people are after deposit only. At whatever rates they want to have, so if you have seen the rate of interest now, senior citizens it has gone up to 8%. Normal rate of interest is around 7.25. So first question that you ask, which bank? First they will try to go to their nearby branch.
Okay, nearby
Some,
banks.
some they have relations. But most of the time every bank is coming out with advertisements. They know which bank is offering higher rate of interest. Even for a small 50 basis point difference, 1% difference, they are shifting banks also.
Okay, Mr. Chaudhary, you want to say something?
I think I was very impressed by what sir said once in the beginning, that Solomon Raj. That name comes to my mind often again and again. So the way you connect with the client, the way you treat your client when he comes to your branch, interest rates somehow more of banks are every rate almost same 0.5, 0.15 differences is there. But the way the customer, the client, the MSME borrower, whoever he is, once he walks into your office, the way he is treated, though you are able to connect with him, the way you are able to speak or whatever may be. So that fact attracts. So it needs to be not only business, but it needs to be how you approach the client, like a Solomon Raj.
Okay.
Connection only. Sir, with regard to my bank, yesterday we organized this mega financial inclusion and self-help group campaign at Dumal village. And nearly 1,100 self-help groups were financed. And financial inclusion covering all the aspects, how the bank account will be opened, all aspects were covered. Apart from that, yesterday only, the entire top banking clients of our Odisha states, we have invited them to Taj ground. Our executive director has come. So we have interacted with each industry. So now banking has changed. Earlier they are supposed to come to us, but now we are going to their doorstep. So yesterday all entire banking industry clients of our Odisha states, they were there and we have interacted with them, and whatever their needs are there, we are ready to help them.
Okay, okay. I have some people's question. Rajiv sir, can I start from you? Rajiv from Nabrangpur, you are also Rajiv. And Rajiv from Nabrangpur asks, what are some of the key elements of a successful financial literacy program and how can such programs be implemented on a broader scale?
See, before that, I must tell you that today the literacy level among the elite has definitely gone up. So, while Solomon Raj is a story of the past, neither you find many Solomon Raj, nor you find people will be carried or swayed by Solomon Raj. Number one. Number two is a successful, you are asking, what is the question? Successful
Financial literacy program.
program. Okay. Now question is, what all you need for your requirement? If you are a SSI or a MSME entrepreneur, your requirement is whether I get the working capital, which bank is giving the working capital, what is the rate at which they are giving the working capital, what are the prime criteria with which the bank is lending. These are some of the requirements, and let me tell you, many of the entrepreneurs, as Sumiyabu has said, some are fortunate to be adopted by the banks, but many become lawaris who are not supported by the bank for various reasons. I am not blaming either the bank or the entrepreneurs. I am saying there is many times a disconnect, and that disconnect can be improved by the financial literacy, because a bank also gets impressed to deal with somebody who knows his subject, because banks do not have the time to teach the entrepreneur from the basics.
Yes.
So that is why the financial literacy means he must have the basic finance knowledge, not only of the product, but how he needs to do his business, what all are his products, where from he is going to source, whether he is going to get it on credit or he is going to pay it on cash, or he is going to sell it as on credit, or he is going to sell it on cash, how he is going to manage the entire thing in the most competitive and high return manner. That is what is important. So this is a broad cycle of events which are necessary, but I think an entrepreneur must have the basic knowledge of not only the business but also the financial instruments he is dealing with.
Okay. Mr. Chaudhary, an important question from Bhubaneswar. Susmita, a medical student. With the rise of digital finance services, how do you ensure that consumers are aware of potential cyber security risk and data privacy concerns? It is a big concern for us.
Oh yes, this is a very, very important question and very, very relevant, the kind of cyber security threats are coming up. I think RBI and the government, both regulator side and from government, both are working on a massive scale. But at the same time, to protect the data which are there, I would like to say that unnecessarily, even sometime in Bhubaneswar it has happened in one bank. I will give an example. One of the clients, in using his PAN and other, somebody has taken a loan in some other institution by impersonation. So, if physically this can be, compromised, so that means the data itself can be compromised. But that itself, so RBI is coming out with strict guidelines that you do not access do not access to spam mails. There are a lot of, SMS spam mails coming up, phone calls will come to your mobile that you please respond that such a gift card is waiting for you or some amount may be credited to your account. Even I have experience. One fellow just rang me, sir वो HDFC हम HDFC बैंक से बोल रहे हैं, if you हम एक SMS गया होगा आपको, अगर ये KYC फॉर्म आप नहीं भरेंगे तो आपका अकाउंट is going to log. Then I just opened it. It just looks like an HDFC bank page. Then somehow I realized, banking people there, then you think of why this mail has come. Then I thought it's a spam. So this type of, again it has been awareness building. These things happen, this cybersecurity is a real threat now to overcome that, though system-based control will be taken by the government or other, but at the consumer level, we must be aware that not to respond to spams and, these calls, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And RBI and all banks, they have formed a task force for cybersecurity. And every alternate 2 months, 3 months, they are meeting. Whatever incidents are happening in the world or in the country, immediately those points are being discussed and necessary steps are being taken. And with regard to data privacy, I think final data privacy will come. So many new things will come. So that portion also will be taken care. But cybersecurity at bank level, at RBI level, at every level, awareness is being created through websites and through ads.
Okay. Chaitanya sir, a question related to you. Rudra from Cuttack. What are the risk management strategies and how investors can stay informed to elevate anxiety related to risk to mutual funds? It's a big question for all the youths of Odisha.
There are always risks associated. When you talk about a fund, the fund always carries a risk with it. It depends on the investor, how much risk can he take. It depends on the investor, what kind of a risk is he willing to take, how much amount of risk he wants to take. As earlier pointed out about hybrid category funds, where the risk is minimal, where you diversify your fund, some part into debt and some part into equity and some part...
So is there any idea to be safe? This is a safe thing to invest. Is there any idea?
It depends on the returns which the investor expects.
Okay.
He says, usually the tendency of the investor would be, we want the safest investment but the best return. Both cannot be achieved together. He should be willing to take the amount of risk he is willing to take. And that will actually define the returns which he can expect from the investment which he does. If he wants a meager risk, he can go for government, GSEC funds are also there, which directly invest into central government papers, which has meager risk to it. And there are some debt instruments which also have a lower risk associated with it. But if he wants the same, a similar lower risk on the equity side, that cannot be done. It depends on the investor, the amount of risk he wants to take and the amount of returns he wants to make. Both cannot run parallelly.
Rajiv sir, gote khanti Odia प्रश्न जने पचारछन. जने पचारछन मो बिजनेस करूची मो पाखरे बहुत टंका अछि घरे. 20-25 लाख हे गेलानी. मो कोठी रखी भी जानि परनी मो घर को ईडी सीबीआई की जे पळे आसी केमती क्वेश्चन पचारछन. यार किछि आंसर अछि?
नहीं प्रथम कथा है जे ईडी सीबीआई 20-25 लाख टंका रे आसीबे नहीं. Coming to the question,
yes,
मु भावुची से लोकटी एते टंका कैश रखिबाटा ठीक नुहे. द्वितीय कथा होची जे से बोधे जानि नाहंती जे ए कैश को बैंक माध्यम रे बा अन्य इंस्ट्रूमेंट माध्यम रे रखी से मध्य रिटर्न पाई परिबे. एवं तृतीय कथा होची जे एते टंका घरे रखिबा केवल तांको पैसा को रिस्क नहीं, तांको जीवन प्रति मध्य रिस्क. तेणु प्रत्येक लोक आमर जो आगुरु थिला जे अनबैंक्ड एरियाज कहतु, अनबैंक्ड पॉपुलेशन कहतु बा पीपल हु आर नॉट कनेक्टेड टू द बैंकिंग सेक्टर. आज सरकार विभिन्न प्रोग्राम हो, बैंक मानकर जो उद्योगी मनोभाव हो बा नेटवर्क एक्सपेंड करने द्वारा आजिका दिन रे प्राय समस्ते बैंक सहित कौन ना कौन प्रोसेस रे जड़ित. द्वितीय कथा है बैंक माने केवल जे फिक्स डिपोजिट नेबे बा छोट छोट लोन देवे सेतिक नुहे. ए बैंक इज ए डिपार्टमेंटल स्टोर. which has everything. Whether you need a mutual fund, whether you need a insurance product, you need anything, a bank can be the channel through which they will connect you to every segment.
Okay.
So today it is not only the gentleman who has 25 lakhs in his house, but there should not be anybody who really keeps a large amount of cash with him, and that is the responsibility of the society also.
Okay, sir. Mr. Chaudhary, this is my personal question, editorial question for you. How do you address the unique challenges faced by different consumer segments such as women, rural populations and economically disadvantaged individuals in improving their financial awareness?
Yeah, Manas, wonderful question. You know, you talked of women, you talked of disadvantaged sections of people, you talked of poor people and SSGs. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it requires, because they belong to different categories.
Yes.
It requires differentiated approach. आमे समस्त पाई गोटे प्रकार solution नहीं कि आमे समस्त पाई एकाटी जाई परिवानी. It requires different focused approach towards somebody. What I may appeal to a micro entrepreneur in Bhubaneswar may be से जिनसटा मु जाई गोटे एसएचजी वुमेन जे गान रही सेमानु कहि परिबेनी जे फिजिकली डिसेबल्ड लोक रही सेमानु कहि परिबेनी. सो गवर्नमेंट रो बहुत प्रकार स्कीम रही, इवन बैंक रो भी बहुत प्रकार स्कीम रही जे महिला गोटे लेडीज पाई गोटे लेडी एंटरप्रेन्योर आसे ताको भाई कोन इंटरेस्ट रेट अधिक कम रही पारे, गोटे फिजिकल हैंडिकैप्ड आसी जदी फिजिकली चैलेंज आई एम सॉरी फिजिकली चैलेंज जदी कि जने आछदी ताको भाई जदी किछि डिफरेंशिएटेड अप्रोच रही कि इंटरेस्ट रेट रही बा माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर रही. तेणु आमको प्रति सेगमेंट रू ओडिशा रे प्रति सेगमेंट रू प्रति गाँव रे इट वन सॉल्यूशन डजंट फिट ऑल. इट हैज टू बी डिफरेंट सॉल्यूशंस. मीडियम स्केल पे मुझे कथा कहबी माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर से कथा कहि परिबेनी. द वे वी कैन टॉक अबाउट म्यूचुअल फंड वी कैनॉट मे बी वी कैनॉट टॉक अबाउट द सेम म्यूचुअल फंड एट ए विलेज लेवल यू नो. सो सेमानक पई आमको गोटे अलग प्रकार हिसाब रे जीवा पड़िबो आ सेमानकर बेसिक नीड्स रिक्वायरमेंट गोटे जमि कह जाय हमतु गोटे स्टडी करला परे बिफोर देखा जाइबो गवर्नमेंट रे बा कोनोसी गोटे बैंक जदी कोनसे आरबीआई हो सीबी हो एनी बैंक हो व्हिच मे बी हैविंग गोटे बड़ प्रोग्राम जो कोनसी फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी प्रोग्राम सेमाने करिया पूर्व सेमाने गोटे स्टडी करନ୍ତି से एरिया रे जे व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस ए लोक माने पे कोन चैलेंज रही कोन असुविधा रहउछन सेमाने कोन चाहउछन प्रकृत ताका नीड कोन. Then you come out with a solution. After understanding their needs through an assessment study, after what solution asme, then you have a specific solution for them through different kind of products. Yeah.
Okay. Chaitanya sir, there is a question from Kendrapada. उन्होंने हिंदी में लिखा है, उन्होंने लिखा है कि मेरे पास कितना पैसा आ जाएगा तो मैं म्यूचुअल फंड में जाऊं या फिक्स डिपॉजिट में जाऊं या सेव कैसे करूं. 30 क्वेश्चंस ऐसे आए हैं कि मेरे पास कितना पैसा होना चाहिए कि मैं इसमें इन्वेस्ट करूं.
That's a nice question. To
Thank God, this is a nice question.
Yeah. Mutual fund is such an investment product where there isn't any, I would rather say that mutual fund is the most affordable investment option which you have with investors. You can start with as low as 500 rupees per month to start an SIP. Systematic investment plan is a tool which you have which helps one to develop the savings habit, which can be even introduced to your children, which can be started with your first investment. Doesn't matter where you start your journey, but starting your journey with a proper investment, making that investment as a habit, the tiny habits of starting your investment, habituating yourself to invest into mutual fund, where there isn't any ceiling that you should start with 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 1 lakh, nothing like that. The basic amount if you want to invest at a single go is 5,000, and to start an SIP you can start with as low as 500 rupees as well. Personally, I too have started in my initial days of my career with 500 rupees of SIP. That's how this investment in the mutual fund can be taken into.
Okay, this is a very nice answer, I think. Any questions from audience? Yes. Can you pass the mic? Any questions from audience? Yes, ma'am. ଗୋଟେ ମିନିଟ୍ ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ପାଖକୁ ଆମେ ମାଇକ୍ ପହଞ୍ଚେଇବୁ. Yes ma'am.
Good evening, gentlemen. Such a pleasure listening to all the industry leaders, financial institution leaders, and I'm very impressed with the entire, formation of it in terms of financial consulting, in terms of financial, investment, and also the banking assistance. So my name is Soni Samal, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm the founder and director of 72 DPI Skills. My question goes to all the gentlemen on the dais. What strategies do entrepreneurs employ to ensure business continuity in resilience in times of economic uncertainty? So as entrepreneurs, we are open to a lot of economic challenges. So what strategies would you kindly suggest us in different understanding on that, sir?
Thank you. See, if you understand cricket, when the wicket is falling or the wickets are falling, the best thing is to protect your wicket. Similarly, in a period of crisis, the best thing is to reduce your cost and maintain the sustainability, work with safety. In a good time, you can be aggressive. You can spend more on advertisement, you can spend more on incentivizing your people. But when there is a reverse trend, you must be conservative, protect and save cost, because that is the time you may not get the kind of sell price that you get in a normal situation. So this is my small advice, that you need to be more conservative when time is difficult.
Yes, sir.
As an entrepreneur, before starting any business or this thing, first thing I think we have to identify our aspects where we can be failed. So if that answers are taken at the initial stage itself, so things will be taken care. And if unforeseen circumstances are happening, just like COVID has happened, so whoever the people are involved with you, so they will also come for your rescue, because they are also facing the same problems. So only at the time of starting the business, you think all the aspects where our business can may get failure, or some unforeseen circumstances you will face. So this question, time to time, it's not initial stage also, but time to time you have to go on thinking, if this happens, what will happen? If you address those issues, so this problem will not be there.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good evening to each and everybody on the dais and of the dais flying colleagues. Myself, J.P. Mahapatra, an entrepreneur, as well as having an media, same way. The question to the entire dais, whether the mindset of the people, if you consider India on pan-Indian basis, I have also, in last 20 years, I have got residence in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat. I see the people is not so much affluent, so much not educated, having the entrepreneurship from the very inception of the childhood. And here, even if you train them a lot in this flora, but they are hesitating it to come up to this stage. Whether it is the mindset of the West and mindset of the East, but exactly, or we are born and brought up in that situation where we are not interested to join this entrepreneurship career. We are not interested to go there. And for the financial inclusion part, so the digital, I have been treated also by the digital economy, 78,000 some.
Sir, what is your exact question?
Exact question is, how at this contemporary era of entrepreneurship we are struggling ahead, how we can match, how we can go ahead, how can you address this?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I will respond, Mr. Mahapatra. Thank you for question. I would again go back to what Soumya sir had said. An empathetic banker. I would give an example, sir. I'm not bragging about Musevisa Garbo Karuni. One gentleman had come to us long back when I was in head office at Lucknow, one gentleman came with this idea that MFI business जो microfinance business अच्छी से इंडिया ही नथिला जन आसले कहले कि मतलब 40 लाख टका लोन दरकार है सो व्हाट इज दिस लोन ना अपन नहीं कहबे कोन ए लोन टा कहया ना मु ए लोन टा नेबी आ एमती ग्रुप करबी एसएचजी ग्रुप करबी आ से लोन टा को लेके तांको देबी से माने फोन टा को यूज करिवे से माने मत को प्रतिदिन हिसाब रे 100 टका हिसाब रे देबे जहां भी हो गोटे ग्रुप मैकेनिज्म you went to every other bank. It was a very new concept at the point. I am coming to that question. Same here. Some banks so every bank had refused this idea. This was a new idea at that point of time. So bank should be we thought, okay, let us experiment with that. So why, let us, we understand the business model. Chance take it. 40 lakh it went on business ki chela, then say for 3 कोटी 40 कोटी 100 कोटी 100 crore 200 crore loan ले 500 crore 1000 crore 1500 crore and that person, that institution has now become Bandhan Bank, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh. So what I mean to say is आपण को जड़े एंटरप्रेन्योर हेबा को हेले एंटरप्रेन्योर रो बहुत जगह ओडिसा में बहुत एंटरप्रेन्योर संगे काम कर फील्ड में देखी छी बेले बेले से माने भल आइडिया थे भी पिला टू पोस्ट रन है कि माने एठी जिवे सेठी जे 10टा बैंक सेला पर जदि के भल करे जदि इफ देयर इज ए पर्सन हु लिसन्स टू हिज स्टोरी कि यार आइडियाटा कोन अछि बिजनेस कोन अछि कोनटा मो एड्रेस कले या जदि किसी बिजनेस मेनी टाइम्स आई हैव सीन कि लोक माने बिजनेस प्रपोजल लेके आसंती प्रपोजल को किंतु हेई पारेनी देन आई टेल कि बाबा तुम ई जगह भूलटा रही तुम एटा एमती तैयारी करो एटा एमती भाव में कले तुमको कौन सी बैंक भी लोन दे पारिबो सो से जो कंसल्टेंट जो गाइडेंस जो हैंड होल्डिंग टा करता अनलेस यू डू दैट people will not come forward because there are a lot of challenges आपण गोटे जदि गोटे लैंड नवा गेले गोटे लाइसेंस नवा गेले इफ यू हैव टू सेट अप एन इंडस्ट्री सर कहते जे वर्किंग कैपिटल बैंकर हिसाब से केम जाय कि से गोटे मीडिया हाउस को 5 लाख लेके आसले आपण कौन सी गोटे लोन नवा गेले यू हैव टू रन पॉल्यूशन यू हैव टू गो फॉर लैंड यू हैव टू गो टू इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिपार्टमेंट लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स सो एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर ही हैज लॉट ऑफ चैलेंजेस बट द मेन चैलेंज इज व्हिच इज फाइनेंस जदि बैंक भाई जने जाय कि एंटरप्रेन्योर जदि ताकू टिके भलो से काउंसलिंग करी गाइडेंस दे परिबो आई थिंक दैट चैलेंज कैन बी एड्रेस
ओके मोर भी गोटे क्वेश्चन रहबो चौधरी सर राजीव सर समस्त का पाई इफ एन एंटरप्रेन्योर फेल्स इन हिज वेंचर्स व्हाट आर द एग्जिट रूट्स फ्रॉम द बैंकरप्सी इज इट अ गुड क्वेश्चन और बैड क्वेश्चन आई डोंट नो बट दिस क्वेश्चन राइजेस इन माय माइंड रिसेंटली राजीव सर
the issue of the past गतकाली जो इश्यू थिला आज से इश्यू बदली जाइए आगुरी थिला मु जदि टिके इतिहास को नेबी जे आपण गोटे एंटरप्राइज स्टार्ट करूछंती शिल्प हो बा जे कोनसी प्रतिष्ठान आपण फेलियर हेले आपण लोन नहीं पारुनांती रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग सीडीआर बीआईएफआर ए सब जिनिस को आपण नौथिले एवं सेगुड़िक बहुत समय लगुला जे से प्रमोटर सक्सेस हो पारुनी किंतु ये जो मेकानिज्म सब चलता समय आसला जिते बैंक रो एनपीए भार बढ़ला जिते बैंक रो रिटर्न कमिला जिते से देखिले जे एगुड़िक गोटे पेशा हो जाइए जो से माने भली एंटरप्रेन्योर जो माने बैंक मान को भूतौचंती तापरे समय आसला जितेबले से माने कहले ए सब प्रोसेस आउ हबनी से माने सीधा जो बैंक्रप्सी रूट को गले एवं कहले आपण दे परुनांती आपण को लोन नॉन परफॉर्मिंग आसीगला एवं आउ कोनोसी नाही अपॉर्चुनिटी नाही ताहले एनसीएलटी को आपण जाई से जो प्रोसेस जो थरे आपण को एसेट आउ जने नै जीवो आपण सेथरु बाहरी आसीबे तेणु ये जो गोटे बिग चेंज जोटा आसी आपन को प्रिपेयर्ड रहा पड़ो जे आपण जदि बैंक आपन को एसेट लोन देती आपण से एसेट को लेकिन जदि चल पार्लेनी एवं किसी समय आसला तापर से एसेट को आउ जड़े एंटरप्रेन्योर ऑक्शनिंग रूट रे सेटा को नहीं जीव एवं आपण से बाहरी आसवे यहाँ हूँ गोटे चेंज तेणु आपण को जदि आपणकर प्रश्न हो जे मु गोटे इनसॉल्वेंसी डिक्लेयर होची कि नहीं मु भाबुची आज पर्यंत सेफ होची जे आपण आपण का एसेट अन्य जन को देले एवं आपण जदि पर्सनल ग्यारंटी देइथिबे ताहले सेही प्रश्न आसीबो
निहाती भाव सर इट इज एन इलेक्ट्रिफाइंग एंड एडोरेबल सेशन आउ गोटे कथा केवल मु कहया चाहिए लोकंर बोधे क्वेश्चन अच्छी किंतु आम समय बहुत कम अच्छी नेक्स्ट सेशन में आम से सब क्वेश्चन नवा मो गाँव महिला मो गाँव लोक समस्त पाखु अवेयरनेस पहुँचू बैंकिंग सिस्टम रे प्रकार आशा करेंगे बहुत धन्यवाद मेनी मेनी थैंक्स टू यू
Thank you so much. Now I will request Mrs. Monica Nar Patnaik, Managing Director, SAMBAD Group, to come on the stage and felicitate our panelists. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a brief and healthy discussion on such an emerging and important topic. Before moving for the next panel discussion, I would like to request Dr. Sudhanshu K.K. Mishra, Chief General Manager, NABARD, to come on the stage and to speak about the work of NABARD in present scenario.
Respected Chairman, SAMBAD Group, ma'am, and all the dignitaries present here. First of all, I apologize. I should have been in time, but we were occupied with a VC from DFS, and therefore I couldn't make it in time. I am also sorry that I am not able to speak in Odia because I am 10 days old in Shimla, in Bhubaneswar. I come from Himachal Pradesh, and I will, when you put NABARD in perspective, I will be sharing some of my experiences. Over the years, what we have got, I'll be sharing some of my experiences. If you permit, I can speak in Hindi, if it is possible. Okay. बहुत साल पहले एक हम लोगों ने वाटरशेड किया. गांव था गायघाट और बोजिया. वो नेपाल के बॉर्डर पे एक घना जंगल था जहां पे आप दोपहर में निकलते थे तो शेर बैठे मिल जाते थे. सब शेर एक्चुअली so many times we have seen tigers sitting on the road. और वहां पे हम लोगों ने वुमेन एसएचजीज लॉन्च किए और हम लोगों ने उनको जब जो है सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप की बात होती थी तो ये होता था कि भाई साहब ये सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप जब दो भाई इकट्ठा नहीं रह सकते तो कैसे इकट्ठा रहेंगे. और हम लोगों ने आरआरबी के चेयरमैन साहब को रिक्वेस्ट किया कि सर व्हाई डोंट यू कम एंड सी 6 o'clock इन द मॉर्निंग चलिए देख के आते हैं क्या है क्या. तो जब हम लोग पहुंचे तो एक दो औरतें बेचारी जो है फुट पैडल से सब्जी उगाती थी सर. और ये हुआ कि भाई इनको तो पैसा देना बनता है. सबसे बड़ी बात ये हुई कि उसी गांव में एक जो है क्या होता है कि एक औरत को पैसे की जरूरत पड़ गई तो उसने मनी लेंडर से पैसा मांगा. और जो है मनी लेंडर से जब पैसा मांगा तो मनी लेंडर ने कहा ये स्टैंडिंग क्रॉप हटा ले जाओ इसको, बिकॉज बाद में डिस्प्यूट करोगे तो दैट विल नॉट बी गुड. तो ये औरत बेचारी रोती जा रही थी और घास काट अपने जो है आधी कच्ची पक्की फसल काटती जा रही थी. एंड देन वुमेन केम अराउंड एंड दे सेड कि आप क्यों रो रहे हैं? तो बोले इसलिए रो रहे हैं कि 5,000 रुपए की जरूरत के लिए देखो खेत चला जा रहा है, अगर 15 दिन रुक जाते तो शायद हमारी फसल बच जाती। एंड देन वी रियलाइज कि हमारे लिए शायद 100 रुपए, 200 रुपए, 500 रुपए ज़्यादा नहीं है, लेकिन किसी के लिए इट इज़ द डिफरेंस बिटवीन लाइफ एंड डेथ। ज़रूर जब आप गाँव में जाके देखें तो कभी कभी 500 रुपए रात में आपको डॉक्टर के यहाँ जाना है और 500 रुपए आपकी जेब में नहीं है, इट इज़ ए मैटर ऑफ लाइफ एंड डेथ। आपको अपने खेत में पानी लगाना है और पानी के लिए आपके पास में पैसा नहीं है, इट इज मैटर ऑफ लाइफ एंड डेथ, क्योंकि आगे की पूरी क्रॉप खराब हो जाएगी। देन वी रियलाइज कि ये जो है, जो हम सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप की बात करते हैं, वो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप इट इज ए सोशल मोबिलाइजेशन फर्स्ट एंड फाइनेंशियल प्रोग्राम लेटर ऑन। और हम लोगों ने कई साल उसमें मेहनत की, बहुत अच्छा। आज हिंदुस्तान में हमारे बैंकर दोस्त बैठे हैं यहाँ पे। आई टेल यू कि साउथ के सारे बैंक प्रॉफिट में इसलिए हैं क्योंकि उनके पास सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स और गोल्ड लोन है। तो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो दैट इज दे हैव इमर्ज फ्रॉम लाभार्थी। IRDP में सर एक वर्ड यूज होता था, लाभार्थी, बेनिफिशरी, और वो बोले खड़े रहो क्योंकि तुम लाभार्थी हो। हमारी औरतें जो है खड़ी नहीं रहती हैं, दे गो एंड दे आस्क फॉर देयर राइट, एंड वो जो है चीजें खड़ी करती हैं। और अब हमारी औरतें इकोनॉमिक इकोसिस्टम में बहुत सारे काम कर रही हैं, विच इज व्हाट नाबार्ड इज। सो हमारा टैगलाइन है, गांव बढ़े तो देश बढ़े, लेकिन हमने एक और बात जोड़ी है कि महिलाएं बढ़े तो गांव बढ़े, एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी रिप्रेजेंट एट नाबार्ड। अगेन आई विल टेल ए वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग इंसिडेंट फ्रॉम द सेम प्लेस। हमारे यहाँ एक शराब के ठेकेदार ने जाके FIR लिखाई, एंड आई वाज सरप्राइज। शराब का ठेकेदार तो खुद ही बहुत बड़ा गुंडा होता है, तो वो FIR क्यों लिखा रहा है? बोले ये महिलाएं जो है हमें दुकान नहीं खोलने दे रही। आई सेड गुड। सोचिए, है ना, पावर स्ट्रेंथ कम्स फ्रॉम बीइंग टुगेदर। एंड वो जब महिलाओं ने उसकी दुकान उठवा दी और भगा दिया उसको एरिया से, दैट इज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ SHG मूवमेंट। और इलेक्शन आया, जैसे आता है, पॉलिटिशियंस प्रॉमिस मेनी थिंग्स एंड दोज वुमेन सेड ऐसे काम नहीं चलेगा, यू हैव टू कम एंड डिस्कस इन आवर विलेज। तो 4 आदमी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के पहुंचे, बोले ऐसे काम नहीं चलेगा, आपको राइटिंग में देना पड़ेगा। तो उन्होंने राइटिंग में 50 मैनिफेस्टो के वादे लिख दिए, बोले ऐसे काम नहीं चलेगा, आपको एक MOU साइन करना पड़ेगा। क्योंकि इधर तो 1000 औरतें थी ना, और उन्होंने भाई साहब एक MOU बनाया, और इधर से एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी ने साइन किया, इधर से भाई साहब जो है हमारी औरतों ने साइन किया, और बोला देखो ऐसा है कि अगर आप पूरा नहीं करोगे काम, तो जैसे शराब के ठेकेदार को भगा दिया वैसे आपको भी भगा देंगे। एंड दैट इज व्हाट नाबार्ड रिप्रेजेंट। तो वी से कि हम बड़े बड़े काम करते हैं, लेकिन हमारा नाम वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट से जुड़ा हुआ है। एंड आई इन्वाइट यू, हमारे वाटरशेड्स में चलिए, हमारे ट्राइबल डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट में चलिए, हमारे जो है SHG फेडरेशंस में चलिए, और आप देखिए कि ये औरतें कितनी मजबूत हैं। ये औरतें कैसे औरत से लड़ती हैं, ये औरतें कैसे घर से बाहर निकलती हैं, ये औरतें कैसे जो है एक्सप्लॉयटेटिव सिस्टम्स को जो है खत्म करने की तरफ आगे बढ़ रही हैं। रियली यू नो एवरी डे वी लर्न दिस वॉज एवरी। ओके, सेकेंड पर्सपेक्टिव मैं आपको दूंगा कि वहाँ पे बोजिया में हम एक सर जो है वाटरशेड का काम कर रहे थे, और वाटरशेड में क्या होता है, रिज टू वैली का हमारा कंसेप्ट होता है, और ऊपर से लैंड ट्रीट करते हुए हम लाते हैं नीचे तक। एंड हम लोगों ने मेड़बंदी कराई थी, मेड़बंदी यू मस्ट बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, मेड़बंदी कराई थी। और मेड़बंदी इसलिए कराई थी क्योंकि पानी रुक जाए, मिट्टी का सॉइल इरोजन रुक जाए, क्या कहते हैं, थोड़े से खेत निकल आए। और एक किसान ने ये मेड़ काट ली, एंड वी सेंड ए पर्सन, बोले इसने मेड़ क्यों काटी? उसने बोला मैं फिर काट लूंगा। थर्ड टाइम वी सेड भगवान के लिए मेड़ मत काटो, उसने कहा मैं तीसरी बार भी काटूंगा। देन वी सेड कि क्यों काट रहे हो? उसने बोला सी 50 मीटर्स इंटू 3 फीट, दैट इज 2 क्विंटल्स ऑफ फीट फॉर मी। एंड आई लर्नड ए वेरी वैल्यूएबल लेसन कि गरीब आदमी को कभी सपने मत दिखाओ बॉस प्लीज। फिर उसके लिए लॉन्ग टर्म कुछ नहीं होता है, उसके लिए शॉर्ट टर्म सब कुछ होता है। एंड देन आई रियलाइज कि इनको क्या ऐसा दे सकते हैं, मेड़ तो रखनी है, मेड़ के बगैर तो खेती नहीं हो सकती, इनको क्या ऐसा दे सकते हैं। तो देन वी एक्सपेरिमेंटेड विद ग्रासेस। आपको पता है अगर आपको जो है पेड़ रोकने, आपको इरोजन रोकना हो तो ग्रासेस पे काम करना चाहिए। और हमारे हिमाचल में जो सब पहाड़ गिर रहे हैं उत्तराखंड में, बिकॉज ग्रासेस खत्म हो गई है वो, इसलिए। तो हम लोगों ने फिर उनके साथ सिट्रोनेला, पामरोजा और लेमन ग्रास पे काम करना शुरू किया और फिर कन्नौज ले गए, उनको तेल निकालना सिखाया। एंड आई रियलाइज कि देखिए ये औरतें कन्नौज चली गई, तेल निकालना शुरू कर दिया, इन्होंने फिर धीरे से पैकिंग करना शुरू कर दिया। लखनऊ महोत्सव में जो है क्या कहते हैं 200 किलोमीटर 300 किलोमीटर बेचने आने लगी। इन्होंने धीरे धीरे जो घर से कभी बाहर निकलती नहीं थी वो आगे बढ़ के अपने घर का पूरा इकोनॉमिक वो संभालने लगी। वाटरशेड का हम लोगों ने जो है ये जो किया वो आज भी जिंदा है। लेकिन मैं इसके साथ का एक दूसरा फ्लिप साइड भी बताऊंगा कि हम लोगों को ये पता लगा कि भाई साहब ये गवर्नमेंट इज वर्किंग ऑन ब्लेंडिंग। तो हम लोगों ने जटरोपा, वी वर्कड ऑन जटरोपा। आपको ध्यान होगा रेलवे ने एक बार पूरे हिंदुस्तान में जटरोपा लगाया था, तो वी वर्कड ऑन जटरोपा। एंड एज ए यंग डिस्ट्रिक्ट डेवलपमेंट मैनेजर हम लोग ये पिन में जटरोपा घुसाते थे और उसको जलाते थे सर, एंड इट यूज टू बर्न विद ब्लू फ्लेम। एंड वो बताते थे देखो ये दिल्ली से अमृतसर जो ये शताब्दी चलती है जटरोपा के ऑयल से चलती है, इसलिए आप अपने अगर जमीन में जटरोपा लगाओगे दैट विल बी अ गुड पेइंग डिविडेंड। एंड देन सडनली गवर्नमेंट वेंट बैक ऑन ब्लेंडिंग पॉलिसी सर। सोचिए आप 1000 हेक्टेयर का वाटरशेड, उसमें जो है 50 किलोमीटर की मेड़, सब में जटरोपा लगा हुआ, और गवर्नमेंट कह रही बिकॉज को, लोग गांव वाले कह रहे बिकॉज को। अगेन कि जैसे गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी बड़े लोगों को अफेक्ट करती है, वैसे गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी बहुत छोटे लोगों को भी अफेक्ट कई बार कर जाती है। एंड एज इंडिविजुअल जैसे हमें प्रॉमिस से बैक नहीं करना चाहिए, वैसे गवर्नमेंट को भी अगर ब्लेंडिंग पे काम कर रहे हो तो ब्लेंडिंग पे काम करो, लॉन्ग टर्म बेसिस पे काम करो, you know. So that was one this thing which we really learned. Talking about Himachal, you know, because I come from Himachal. Talking about Himachal, देखिए हिमाचल में क्या है कि पहाड़ हैं, ऊंचे ऊंचे पहाड़ हैं सर, और हम लोगों का एक एफपीओ है सिराज वैली का एफपीओ है, और उसका घी हम लोग बेचते हैं सर। एंड घी ऐसा कि उसमें ऐसा लगता है कि हल्दी मिली हुई हो। देन माई मदर यू नो शी इज नो मोर, बट शी यूज्ड टू से कि सिराज का घी लाओ, क्यों, इसमें हल्दी मिलाते हो। तो हमने पूछा आप इसमें हल्दी मिलाते हो क्या? नो, हमारी गाय जो है वो स्टॉल फीड नहीं होती, हमारी गाय जो है जो घास चरती है वो इतनी पौष्टिक है कि वो घी एकदम बढ़िया निकलता है। लेकिन हमारे सामने एक बार एक दिक्कत थी कि जंगल के बीच में किसी के घर में 2 गाय हैं, 4 किलो दूध रोज निकलता है, कैसे इकट्ठा करें बताइए? यू विल यू नो 1000 औरतें हैं, हर एक के घर में 2-2 गाय हैं, जंगल में है, पहाड़ पे चढ़ के जाना पड़ता है, 4 किलो 5 किलो दूध रोज निकलता है, कैसे इकट्ठा करें? और तब हम लोगों ने नाबार्ड में उन लोगों को एक जो है वैन दी है, वैन 50% कॉस्ट पे एक वैन दी, और वो औरतें खुशी खुशी, मतलब जब कोरोना था तो भी उन्होंने कहा नहीं हम दूध इकट्ठा करना नहीं छोड़ेंगे, और हम जो है क्या कहते हैं ये काम करते रहेंगे। टुडे दे आर वायबल, इकोनॉमिकली वायबल, और उन औरतों से आप बात करेंगे, आई मस्ट टेल यू, यू मस्ट लिसन टू देम, क्योंकि वो बीडीओ के यहाँ गई 4 घंटे बैठी रही, एसडीएम के यहाँ गई 6 घंटे बैठी रही, सर कलेक्टर के यहाँ गई फिर 6 घंटे बैठी रही, मिनिस्टर साहब के यहाँ गई फिर 6 घंटे बैठी रही। और क्यों? क्योंकि उनको एक छोटा सा सर जो है क्या कहते हैं वो चिलिंग प्लांट लगाना था, जिसके लिए सरकार जमीन नहीं दे रही थी। एंड देन नाबार्ड स्टेप्ड इन एंड अंबुजा सीमेंट फाउंडेशन स्टेप्ड इन एंड वी सेड नहीं, इनका ये काम करवाना पड़ेगा, किसी तरीके से करवाना पड़ेगा। तो जो है ये डेवलपमेंट इज नॉट अबाउट स्टैटिस्टिक्स, डेवलपमेंट इज अबाउट द सोल। दैट इज व्हाट आवर एक्सपीरियंस इज एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई वांट टू शेयर विद यू। नाबार्ड के बारे में आगे बताने में, उड़ीसा के बारे में हम बताना चाहते हैं आपको। हम लोग स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ बहुत ही बढ़िया से कोऑर्डिनेट करते हैं। हर साल करीब हम लोग 4000 करोड़ के RIDF प्रोजेक्ट्स उड़ीसा गवर्नमेंट को देते हैं, एंड दे आर बिग प्रोजेक्ट्स, मेगा लिफ्ट प्रोजेक्ट्स, रोड प्रोजेक्ट्स. In Himachal, we gave first ropeway of the country under RIDF, and we also gave this year a project for e-charging infrastructure for e-vehicles. So हमारा RIDF में बड़ा काम है. उड़ीसा में हम लोग 9500 करोड़ करीब जो है आपका पैडी प्रोक्योरमेंट के लिए मैं देते हैं गवर्नमेंट. ठीक है, एंड वी आर वेरी हैप्पी टू हेल्प. एग्रो प्रोसेसिंग में ओमफेड बड़ा काम कर रही है. वी आर वेरी हैप्पी टू बी ऑफ हेल्प टू देम. लेकिन जो है ये हमारी आज की बैलेंस शीट करीब जो है 9 लाख करोड़ की बैलेंस शीट है नाबार्ड की. लेकिन बैलेंस शीट इज नथिंग, बैलेंस शीट इज जस्ट फिगर्स. हमारे पीछे 1000 हाथ हैं. नाबार्ड जो है, हमारे हिमाचल के चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब कहते थे कि अगर किसी चीज को सक्सीड कराना हो तो नाबार्ड का नाम लगा दो. एंड वी आर वेरी पक्का कि जो हमारे प्रेडिसेसर्स ने ये नाबार्ड का नाम लगाया है वो हम लोग पक्का रखेंगे. एंड वी आर ऑल्सो वेरी पक्का कि 1 पैसा जो हम दे वो गांव में 1 पैसा दिखना चाहिए, और हमारे किए हुए प्रोजेक्ट का क्लियर बेनिफिट जो है डिलीवरेबल्स के रूप में लोगों को मिलना चाहिए. और तीसरा, वी शुड नॉट वेट पुअर पीपल, वी शुड नॉट कीप देम वेटिंग. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mishra. Now we will move towards our next session. In all the industries, digital nowadays is a new buzzword. Banking, like other business, is undergoing a global shift towards digitization. And because of this process, India's banking sector has seen significant growth in recent years, driving a high rate of capital formation. Because of the financial help that delivers to other industries and promotes capital formation, the banking sector is known as a sector for developing all other sectors. But how this process helps people to move with this? How this digitalization process helping people to be aware of such developments? And to discuss on this, digital innovations, opportunities and challenges, I would like to request Mr. Prashant Gajanan Devdhar, DGM Finance and Operations, State Bank of India, Mr. Suresh Sarangi, former General Manager, Bank of India, Mr. Ellen Rathore, retired General Manager, Union Bank of India, ex-Chief Vigilance Officer, Bank of Maharashtra and Bank of India, to be on stage. Thank you so much. So now as we are on stage to discuss about the process and enhancement in the digital sector of banking and finance institutions, I would like to start from Mr. Deodhar. Starting from keeping records manually to now be in that era of computer where we put every record digitally. How would you define this graph?
Good question. What we have seen in our day-to-day activities, everybody used to maintain some daily expenses diary, and now we are recording everything on our mobile. Somebody has said that one mobile has taken out near about 200 gadgets, which we were using as children probably. Something similar has happened in banking also. We used to go through the ledgers and the balancing and the interest application and then 3 days spending for interest calculation and all that. Now all those records have become digital. Digital in the sense is nothing but where I have a server at a particular location and all my records are kept there. As per the guidelines of Government of India, these records are maintained in India, and I have one more server at other location which serves as my DRP. Similar process runs for all the institutions of the country. This change is just a reflection of what is happening across the country, and banking cannot be an exception to this. It's a very good thing, but it has created another challenge about data privacy, data secrecy, data leakage, accidents out of that, but that's a part of life.
Now I would like to come to Mr. Sarangi. When we are talking about digital innovations, how do you see things differently? This is more like challenging, or this is creating more opportunities for general public as well as the employees of this sector?
See, I would start like this, that there was a French poet, Victor Hugo, who said, nobody on earth can stop the power of or the progress of an idea whose time has come. Now it has become the time of disruption and innovation in technology. There has been an evolution of technology all through the ages. The previous question was how we are managing. I would say there are ledgers which are difficult to maintain in a bank. Since I am a banker, I know. But when the advanced electronic ledger posting machine came, it became a bit easier. But at the time, storage of all those things was very small. With evolution of technology came computer, and then came anywhere, anytime banking. When this anytime, anywhere banking came, that from the confines of your home also you can do the banking, and you are not a customer of a particular branch, you are a customer of the entire bank. Suppose I have an account with Bank of India, so I am not a customer of Bank of India, Bhubaneswar branch. I am also a customer of Bank of India, Simla branch or New Delhi branch, or for that matter, Manipur branch. It has been possible because the bank has been under this technological innovation taken as one unit. So you can operate. Previously, if you went to Delhi, you don't have money, you can't do anything. But if you went to Delhi,
in core banking solution or what we say CBS, you can operate from that system. But that has again undergone changes. So much so that today you can imagine that the changes are faster than we think or conceptualize or visualize. And these changes have happened, even in the field of mobile. I was just calculating how many apps are there in a mobile. And it was 38 apps, and I can do it or I can utilize it in 38 manners. So this has been possible because of two things. One is the smartphone and the other is the internet. When they have combined together, the world is a very small place, and we do work accordingly. And in the banking technology, what we say the fintech, we have now come to understand what is fintech, and we know how it is being used through mobile also. See, yesterday I will say how we are getting impacted by technology. I wanted to ask my friend, I want to invest in this stock, and how can know? I know that the stock is a better stock or a bad stock. Do you know what he said? He said to me, you see the RSI. I said, what is this RSI? I don't know. No, RSI is Relative Strength Index. That means if the relative strength index of that particular stock is at 80, that means it cannot move further above, and it has to move downward. So it is better not to invest. And I asked the second question. If I want to invest in a equity, then how can I know whether it's a equity for which so many people are trying for? He said, see, immediately that there are 2,28,000 people who try to purchase the share and 2,26,000 who want to sell the share. That means the people who are trying to purchase the share are more, but this could, he say, only because of generative artificial intelligence which is coming very fast, because of machine learning, because of algorithms. All these are things which have been used. And this is changing the landscape and ecosystem of banking, and we are all knowing. And a very fine winter morning, I went to the Airtel system. There I asked him, the office was not open, so I came back and saw there is a shop which is selling tea, and I asked the tea vendor. I just came like that without my wallet, and can I purchase a tea cup from you? I will pay you, what is the cost? 5 rupees by means of the phone pay system. And he agreed, and immediately I had the tea. You know, COVID has spoiled the entire structure of what we say, those who are in the very small sector like small businesses and Alusha, Bara, Bhuvni and all that. But this could be successful only because of the phone pay. So all those money they receive, they can trade, they are empowered. In the villages, the self-help group people have been empowered because through phone pay they are making the transaction. So much so that $2 trillion transaction have taken place in India in the year 2022. You can imagine, yes, price-wise it is very low, but value it is very high. It's empowering the women and empowering India, empowering everybody else.
Every sector, Mr. Sarangi, as you said. Now I would like to come to Mr. Rakha, and as Mr. Sarangi said that through online payment mode, now anyone can get anything and in very less amount, even though it is 5 rupees or it's like 5,000 or any 50,000 rupees. So with this development of the sector, do you really think that human error in physical work can be eliminated through digitalization?
Samastavu namaskar. Thank you, madam, for the question. I'd be using both languages. Being Odia person, I will try to present certain things in Odia. आवश्यकतारू आविष्कार गोटे कनसेप्ट आम जानी जेकोसी बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चाहे बैंक भी गोटे बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जेकोसी बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो काम कार्य बढ़ी जाए से आवश्यक आम खोजी बुलू इज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस फ्रॉम द कस्टमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑल्सो इज ऑफ गेटिंग ए सर्विस इज द नेसेसिटी एंड दैट प्रोबेबली गेव राइज टू द डिजिटाइजेशन. सो दीज मित्र जहाँ कहले डिजिटाइजेशन साधारण हिसाब से आम बुझा डिजिटाइजेशन आवश्यकता थिला इज ऑफ बिजनेस बा इज ऑफ डेलीवरिंग ए सर्विस आम खोजिले आमर जो वॉल्यूमलेस बिजनेस होगा व्यावसायिक बैंक जेकोसी प्रतिष्ठान बिजनेस वॉल्यूमलेस होगा ताकू हुए तो ह्यूमानली करने संभव है एवं जड़े कस्टमर हिसाब से सी चाहिए तार कंफर्ट जोन रे बैंक पाखक न आसी कौन व्यवसाय प्रतिष्ठान को न जाई घरे बसी फ्लिपकार्ट रे मोबाइल जरिए से ड्रेस खंडे ऑर्डर दे पार काली सका बर्थडे सेलिब्रेशन हम. सो दिस वाज द नेसेसिटी फ्रॉम बोथ साइड्स and undoubtedly it has made our life so comfortable, definitely comfortable, which was beyond imagination. आमे ए जनरेशन ही जहाँ एक्सपीरियंस करिचे आमे केबे इमेजिन करनथिले जे रेमिटेंस मागणा रही जीव आमे सब ट्रेडिशनल बैंकर जेतेबेले रेमिटेंस होतला गोटे ड्राफ्ट परचेज करिया को जण आस्तले कैशियर पाखरे सकाळे पैसा देई जाउतले एवं संध्या बेलको से काउंटर फॉलोटा लेके ड्राफ्ट नोटले तबे.
सॉरी फॉर द इंटरप्शन सर जेमती आपण कहउचंती जे बहुत कंफर्टेबल हे गले लोक ऑनलाइन मोड रे जेतेबेले आमे कारबार कलो किबा ऑनलाइन मोड जरिया आमे टंका दे कोन से जिंस किनिलु खाइलु व्हाटएवर इट इज किंतु आपण भाबुनांती जे जेतेबेले आगुरु आमे नगद टंका रखुथुलु पाखरे पैसा रहउतिला हमकु बेसी सुविधा होतिला काहेकि ना हुए तो कौन जगह एमती इंटरनेट सुविधा न थाई पारे जोठी आमे ऑनलाइन मोड ऑफ पेमेंट को व्यवहार न करि पारु सेति जने लोक असुविधार सम्मुखीन हबोनी.
उचित प्रश्न पचार मैडम जितेबाला आम सुविधा आम जेको जिन करचे तार अदर साइड अच्छी देयर इज ऑलवेज ए चैलेंज फॉर एनीथिंग दैट वी डू गुड and we make our life comfortable. For any innovation you see you have brought in electricity, there is a threat of getting shocked if you not use the plant properly. So in digital transactions also it is fraught with lot of risk. I fully agree, and in fact the previous session was discussing about financial literacy. I believe the digital literacy is also a small subsector in financial literacy. People whoever are jumping into or are utilizing digital service, digitization, digital banking, to be precise for today's discussion, they must be aware about basic concepts of the challenges that come. You find every day the news is around in social media or newspaper about some fraud happening through this digital banking and through what you call sharing of OTP or misuse of ATM card, cyber security threats are there. So in order to eliminate that, we have to honestly admit that the fraudster walks always a step ahead than the ordinary person who uses the service.
Okay.
So
we
must keep
up
up
to the point of cyber fraud. We will discuss on that for sure, but before that, Mr. Sarangi wants to say something.
See, Madam was asking the question about the comfort. All of us have experienced the COVID-19 pandemic, okay? But there was no opportunity to go to the bank. Government has created certain stipulations that you cannot go to the bank, we cannot contact, we cannot be more than 5 people. And all of us have enjoyed from the comforts of our home by making that transaction. How comfortable it was. And without that financial transaction, maybe India would have come to a grinding halt when the 2 months of transaction. Second, your son now speaks that I met an accident and I would like to go to the hospital. And you immediately send the money. How comfortable it has become. Think of the days of a pay order or a credit authorization note or a demand draft. It will reach, you will go on questioning the bank manager every day and other things. So this has made this computerization or even the fintech revolution has made life more easier, more smoother, and the speed and the accuracy at which it is happening. And coming to the fraud, I would like to say frauds are happening, but frauds are happening because perhaps we don't have the patience. We are more greedy than Can you ever imagine the banking secretary, Mr. Ganesan, some 6-7 years before, was defrauded to the extent of 8 lakhs rupees? It is simple, somebody started speaking from one bank that, sir, we need this, and your password and this OTP so that we can register certain things and you will be getting immediate. And he believed. Why should we believe? If we want to control ourselves, greed, or if we would like to remain very conscious and aware about what are the procedure, and if we ask the banking people regarding this, or if we ask even the Google, we can know. Who is not up
to be very concise on this, we can say that if we are using any kind of online mode, still we have to be aware of the negative part of it, as every coin has its two sides. Mr. Deodhar, I would like to bring to your notice, as you are also a part of this sector from last several years, we are talking about digital India, digital banking sector. But still, I would like to bring some numbers in front of you. In Lok Sabha this year, Union Minister of State for Communication has said that Odisha has 6,592 villages without mobile network. And in the State Assembly, last time, concerned minister has said that 4,549 villages are there in Odisha who does not have mobile networks. We have such villages who does not know how to use mobile, who doesn't have mobile networks, and still we are here to talk about digital India, digitalization of banks. But there are many villagers, there are many people who does not even know how to use it. So how we can call it the process of development?
If you look at, as somebody go back to the history, not all countries of the world are equally developed. Development is a process. If something happens suddenly, it's a growth. India is looking for development. Now, to draw a parallel between the development of villages in Odisha, I would like to draw some parallel with railways. Nobody thought that a train, a super specialist train like Vande Bharat will run on this train, on the rails of this country. Just as I have a Vande Bharat running, I also need a passenger train which will cater to that particular segment of people. Similarly, now why we don't have mobile networks is something where I need to cater to those villages through my physical presence, which can happen either through my physical branch, where I don't really need a mobile because I already have a lease line network, or I have a CSP, customer service point, which are my CSPs, and they have a lease line, basically the telephone line. Now, when I am looking at mobile, it is not the mobile what I am per se looking at, I am looking at the communication aspect of it. And if I am able to, obviously it is a process, because some villages are quite deep in the forest, you have to cross through the rivers and all that. Obviously it will take time, but then, as I said earlier, development is a process, and all the bankers in the state of Odisha are working towards integrating all these villages and the hamlets and bring them in the proper banking. It may not be a mobile banking, but obviously it is a banking and the financial literacy part of it.
Okay. Mr. Rathore, when we are talking about digitalization of banking sector or financial institutions, recently there was a news that 6 advocates of Koraput district and Malkangiri were there in fraud. They were some thousands of money has been taken from them through online mode. If the educated person is in this present scenario, if an educated person is in that present of time, so how a person from a rural part of Odisha can define this or can defend this?
I would give this answer by going to a very ordinary analogy, like accidents happening on the road. we have to agree that with increase in traffic, vehicle or traffic accidents increase, and so also similar analogy with increase in number of transactions, the fraud would definitely happen. Now coming to the question of differentiating between a fraud happening to educated person or an illiterate person being defrauded, yes, all of us should unanimously agree that the illiterate person is more prone to fraud. Fine. So let us set it aside that we all would resolve to try and educate him, literate him with regard to all these provisions. Now, why we are so critical with regard to the educated person being defrauded? We have something in our mind that he must be aware of these basic things, but probably he ignored it or he could not recollect the precautions at that point in time. There are two things. One is you are not aware of certain things, and the second is you are unable to recollect the precautions at that point in time. To disturb this capacity to recollect your precautions at the particular point when you are transacting or being a victim of fraud, you have to face or you have to tackle with emotions. Many frauds do occur in such cases that you are emotionally exploited. Somebody impersonating as your close relative would call claiming to be calling from a hospital bed and would advise you, request you to send some money online for his treatment in a very odd hour of night. And so many things, time would not permit to discuss all those modus operandi, how it happens. All of you are aware from various sites and newspapers. So here, anything lands upon you, for a moment, please be independent of your emotions to evaluate that request.
But sir, will you agree on the point that due to excessive use of online methods of banking system, cyber fraud numbers are growing day to day?
Yes, that is the other side, the story, that is the supply side story from the side of the service provider, that is the bank. They must have sufficient firewalls to protect their data, to ensure various encryptions while transmitting and while preserving the data. Many times you see, particularly the banks who have come over the past several years, like all the public sector banks having 50 years, 100 years of history, the data also, whatever data we are maintaining, they are not compatible to be maintained in the system, and many raw data are still to be sanitized. There are a lot of things have improved over the last 20 years, but still that data sanity is one requirement. The second is your capabilities of your servers and various firewalls, various cyber security measures, robust mechanisms should be there. The another thing is that constant vigilance should be there. You must be vigilant. Your SOC team, security oversight committee, or whoever is in charge must not cannot afford to ignore a minutest of disturbance. Sometimes they ignore very slight disturbance, but later on it is found that that is the main point in time, at that particular point in time, the attack has happened. So that vigilance mechanism should be made stronger at all those servers.
I would like to add something to what sir said. Just as capturing the emotions is one part of the fraudsters to get financial advantage, second is excessive greed on the part of the so-called target. Now everybody of us who are running through malls, we always find, sir, ये scheme चल रही है, आपका mobile number दे दीजिए. Now every person has given his mobile number to n number of KYC documents, and all of them are linked, which is a very secure system. Now another part is, will I share my house address to a person who is not known to me? I will definitely not. But what makes me share my mobile to a person who had just pushed a paper in front of my nose? That is the second part. And the third part, vis-a-vis this, is that how I secure myself is a question. COVID-19, my personal observation is, COVID-19 created havoc across the world. I personally have lost a few family members in my own family. But by and large, Indian healthy lifestyle and the spices what we use across the state, across the geographies, has boosted our immunity. Something similar immunity I should also take. Ki whether I will go for a greed, and to that extent I have found literacy has to an extent not a direct correlation vis-a-vis the emotional intelligence. If I approach as a banker, not a personal example, but if I approach a banker, sir, I will give you 36% of rate of interest, they will treat me to a very good cup of tea and then say tata bye bye. That's it.
Just supplement to it, it's a 30 seconds I would take. I have purchased a new car 10 days back. Today, I have received so far 5 calls from probably the same company asking me that I am calling from RSA company. I do not know how many of us would agree that there is a company called RSA company. Your card for roadside assistance is ready. 4,000 rupees you have to pay, this thing, that thing. And you go on, but you put in that number on your prohibited number list, the call comes from another list. So here, if we have to carry on a feeling in our mind that nothing comes for free. Another telephone came today also that because you are a new car buyer, our company wants to give you 2 tickets to go to and fro for a holiday. I said, how come, why you are giving free? You would promote our company's tourism business. These are all silly things that we must keep in mind that nothing comes for free. If someone is offering you something is free, probably you are the object. If we go with that belief,
you have to pay for that sooner or later.
Thank you.
Mr. Sarangi, I'll come to you. Like our chairman was saying in his speech that bankers are actually philosophers, guide to a customer. But for this online system, do you think that this relationship will be an obstacle?
I don't think this system will be an obstacle. Rather, it is furthering the transactions and it is improving the relations. If you see the previous question, why frauds do occur? Am I sharing my OTP? Have I not kept my mobile app in lock and key? That is the password. We share our password, we share our OTP. But how we can implement it in the rural places? See, Odisha is a bright example of SAG. The women SAG we have built. Everywhere they are available, they can guide you. But you cannot trust them. There is systems and control for everything in place. But sometimes we deviate from that system and control for which we have to pay a heavy price. Because the fraudsters are more brainier than what you are. So this technology or banking technology is never an hindrance to the progress. Rather, there has been a lot of ideas which have been implemented. There has been a lot of progress in banking which have been implemented. How here it is in the part of, we are sitting here in the SLVC, I remember, every information is with the Reserve Bank of India. That's only because of the technology. So, technology is never a hindrance for the progress, rather, it is a facilitator. See, what has happened again, first we are saying about the customer satisfaction. Now, we are saying what is the customer experience? Is that a customer ecstasy? It has come to this level. And this customer ecstasy is possible only when the technology is helping us to provide provide the service in real time basis. That when I am doing the transaction, it is happening in a bank, in RTGS, and this time constraint is not there. Physical delivery of cash not there, and money transfer is easier. It's not time consuming. It is more accurate. Minus fraud. If fraud happens, so I would definitely say that technology rather making our life easier, smoother, and banking technology has made it the easiest and most comfortable life.
Okay. As we are talking about technology and in relation with this sector, I would like to know your opinion, Mr. Deodhar, that nowadays we are talking a lot about artificial intelligence. So how do you think that this can be an X factor in such sector as well?
Artificial intelligence does have its own role to play. Uh, though artificial intelligence we have really not seen being in practice, but if I take data mining and data capture as maybe a stepping stone for artificial intelligence, in that sense, what I am seeing is that the technology which is emerging is now emerging and taken the role not only as a friend and philosopher, but also as a guide for small vendors. There are business models established in this country where a small vendor who may be running a fish, or the person who mends our shoes, or the person who sells vegetables or fruits, he is given some money. This money comes to his account at the beginning of the day. He purchases the goods from the wholesale market, and at the end of the day, the entire money gets captured in his account, maintained with X institution through the QR code. At the end of the day, this money goes back to the lender, whatever the rate agreed. In that sense, this data, now this particular institution is getting the data of whosoever are the buyers of this person. In that sense, artificial intelligence or data mining, I have not yet studied artificial intelligence, but this data mining will definitely be a source for the banking to go forward. And that is going to be the source.
Okay. As we are running out of time, but I would like to take short opinions of all of you. Mr. Nath, as we are saying about banking opportunities, so previously we have seen that in every village there was a branch of every bank, but nowadays as we have online banking system, so do you really think that that opportunity which was creating an employment for a person is being harmful for this online section or online process?
Apparently, what you say, there is a perception that with any mechanization or conversion to digital mode would reduce human deployment and it will have a direct impact on employment. But if you see the period behind which we have crossed last 20, 30, 40 years during all this banking computerization or digitization, has the number of employees, bank employees in this country gone down or has it gone up? Well, it has definitely gone up. There we have never had a bank having 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs employees and all those things. Okay, somebody may put a counter argument that it is because of the volume have increased. So whether volume has increased or per head business per capita business has increased or number of customers has increased, all this put together has definitely assisted in increasing the employment opportunity. Second, for arranging this digitization or making this digital concept available to the customers, also human intervention is still required. And as you were talking some time back about the last mile approach where there is no digital infrastructure yet available, be it Odisha or elsewhere in the country, there is a concept we are all aware of, physical. You have to go the 10 miles digital and the last mile physical. So that combination probably is not going to die out. Employees will be there. Banks should still continue to increase their headcount. I have no doubt about that.
Okay, Mr. Sarangi, I would like to take your opinion on this as well.
See, physical distance has gone away with, and I would say, right to repeat that from the comforts of your home, you are not only transferring money, you can print your deposit receipts, you can split it, you can close it, all those things that have taken place. Artificial intelligence will do away with the repeated work we are doing in the banking, like Mr. Swaraj Mishra was saying in the inaugural address that we would take time to balance the ledger, and for 1 naya paisa which is not getting balanced, we take 1 month, that to 7, 8 staff sit together to do that. Today the situation is not there, it is automatically balanced every day in a computerized environment. Similarly, these changes, all those changes are giving us when AI will come, it will be artificial interest will do away with all the repetitive work, and it will be much speedier, much faster. With audit trails, you can know where those things have gone. What is ultimately artificial intelligence? They have lot of data, which data they are aggregating, storing, and finding a solution by manipulating all those data. So, when AI will come, rather it will be much speedier, much comfortable, and frauds will be always there because of people who are utilizing artificial intelligence. But for that we have to be careful, and there is a task force constituted by Reserve Bank of India along with other banks who have been deciphering this knowledge, how to prevent and control the fraud. We have to be very careful about that. And after all, we ourselves, if we don't become conscious, however the system may be effective, will definitely fall a prey to the system itself. So let us be aware of what we are doing, which will not put us into problem.
Okay, as you said, and we can conclude with that, that as every coin has its two sides, so when we talk about innovations and specifically in banking and financial sector, we also have to know that if it is creating opportunities, it will come with challenges too. Thank you so much, all of you, for your time and for this healthy discussion. Thank you so much. Now I would like to request CEO of SAMBAD Group, Kamala Sir, to come on the stage and felicitate our panelists for this session. Thank you so much. As this is the first series of SAMBAD seminar, we are looking forward for the next series as well with topics that has immense importance to talk about. Thank you all for making this seminar a successful one, and thank you so much for your time, effort and such a healthy discussion for which we will be obliged forever. Thank you so much. So now we are at the end of SAMBAD seminar, Series 1 2023 Banking and Finance. Knowledge partner Mirai Asset Mutual Fund in association with State Bank of India, NABARD, UCO Bank, Canara Bank, TV partner Connect News, radio partner Radio Chocolate, digital partner SAMBAD Digital. Thank you all. I would like to request all of you to please have your dinner and enjoy. Thank you.